All right, we're live, and I'm just gonna dive right in. We'll do the intro later. Yeah, we got a lot to cover, so let's hop right into the evacuation of Dakar. They've stolen Dakar for First Order and Resistance. Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we're starting with the ones we've kind of seen before, because these have been kicking around for a while. They've been all over the internet and YouTube. So we're looking at Kylo Ren, but it is beautiful to see these with artwork on them, to see the full like design. I know we saw a mock-up of this not too long ago, just the like wireframe and the icons, but not the actual artwork or the full color. So this is cool. Um, One thing I'm going to struggle with is I know that these ships and pilots have slightly different stats and abilities than they do in their stock version, and I am not familiar enough with First Order and Resistance to necessarily call that out every time. Um, yeah, we got Silencer Kylo here. We've got I-5, of course. We got all the same stats: 3-3, 4 hull, 2 shields. 3 force, I believe, is new because normally he has 2, right?
Correct.
Okay, so bonus force, and then his ability is the nope. So his ability is different. It doesn't have the show you the dark side condition, which is good. It kind of does the same thing,
Yeah.
but doesn't say that show you the dark side. So dealt face down damage card. You may spend 1 force. If you do, that damage card is dealt face up instead. Very nice. And has the auto
Mm-hmm.
thrusters, also nice. Then malice we've seen, proton torpedoes we've seen, determination we have not. While you perform a primary attack, if the defender's in your bullseye, you may suffer 1 hit to add 1 eyeball result, which means you have an auto mod from a. No, you've got an extra additional die if you have force.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Already talked about that. Super high risk, but I have a hard enough time killing Kylo. Him sacrificing a couple hit points to get those key shots, I think, is going to be really, really good. So it's
Yeah.
cool.
That additional force is also going to make him a bit scarier as well.
Yeah. No, and he's got malice to actually recover more too. So having that determination
Yeah.
and malice together is nice. Um,
Yeah. And he's sneaking in at 7 points, whereas
oh, he
regular
is.
Kylo Silencer is 6.
Did they discuss that in the stream? They actually talked points.
I haven't looked at the stream, but Yasby has been
Oh, the
completely updated.
builders. That's right. Yes. Okay. Man, what a day. All right, I got so much to catch up on. Okay, so let's jump on through.
Yeah.
So I have not seen Zeta 5. Got ourselves a
No, he's new.
TIFO over here. Same stats as classic TIFO, 2 initiative. Yikes. Okay. I mean, that's not great, but cool. I like the artwork on this one. It really shows you like the very
Mm-hmm.
structural elements of the tie. That's fun.
Yeah.
Um, I also haven't mentioned this. I love the XWA logo in the bottom left. That's a cool like the subtle shield logo on that.
Yeah. No, it's a good
Um,
addition.
yeah, it's nice. And please do jump in over me. I'm going to talk a lot, and I hope you'll get your thoughts in
No,
here too.
no problem. So yeah, Zeta 5. Have you already explained the ability?
No, all yours.
No. So while you perform an attack, if you're not shielded and the defender's initiative is higher than yours, add a focus result. And then most of the generic unnamed unique but generic pilots, while you perform an attack, you may choose another friendly ship at 0 to 1 of the defender. If you do, that ship gains a strain token, and you may reroll 1 blank result.
So it's like a more, so it's ruthless but better. Kind of.
Yeah, I
It's
think
not a guaranteed
it's
hit, but it doesn't guarantee
yeah,
damage on your friendly.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really good, especially if you know that that ship isn't taking any shots. You can just do this willy-nilly. Yeah, God.
Yeah, and then determination, while you perform a primary attack, if the defender is in your bullseye arc, you may suffer hit to focus.
A lot riskier on this one, but okay.
Yeah, but he's gonna probably lose a shield pretty quickly.
Well,
But
you sack
again,
your
because
shield
he's
to trigger the
yeah.
pilot ability, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you can because you can perform those in any order because they're both in the while you perform an attack step.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you shoot an
So
I3, you add an eyeball
shoot it
result.
shoot it I2 and you take the
Oh,
shield
I'm
to
sorry.
add 2 eyeball results.
Yeah, I was thinking shoot at an I3 because it has to be higher initiative
Oh
than
yeah.
yours.
Yeah, well that's pretty much the entire field. 3, 4,
Right.
5, 6.
Yeah. God. Okay. So let's map this out. So you got a range 3 shot. You're taking a 2-die attack. You shoot an initiative 3 pilot.
Mm-hmm.
There's a defender at range 0 to 1. So you shoot it. You add an eyeball result, and then so you've got 3 dice here, and then you can give a strain to that friendly to reroll one of them.
Yeah.
And then with determination, you can then add an eyeball result too. So you've got a guaranteed hit. Excuse me, 2 guaranteed hits if you spend a focus token, plus the
Mm-hmm.
soft reroll, and then whatever else you rolled on the 2 base dice.
And then he gets even nastier if you actually push him range 1 as well. 3 base dice
True, because then it goes up to
adds an automatic
5.
evade. Yeah, adds an automatic evade result. Yeah, it goes up to 5, and determination can make it 5.
Right.
Two of which turn into hits, and then whatever your default 3, and then you've got the soft reroll.
Yeah, I can
So
already
you should be hitting 3 to 4 dice.
I can already hear the usual criticism of being an I2 small base trying to land a bullseye, but I mean it's going to happen.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and this is a ship you cannot ignore because that's like you said, you're talking about 5 dice with arguably 2 automatic hits plus a reroll plus whatever else you've got on the if it has the lock, right? So you said pattern analyzer, and it's got the targeting matrix. While attacking, you may spend an eyeball result. Ooh, interesting. At the end of the neutralized result step, if you do, the attack is resolved. The defender gains a strain token after you attack. So, I mean, if you have any other I2s or I1s in there, that's good. Otherwise, it's yeah.
Yep, and that's if you've just absolutely nailed. I mean, you don't have to spend your. Well, yeah, because targeting matrix, you can just add a result with your ability, and then targeting matrix it out.
Yeah,
so
true.
I can see him being very helpful in just a standard TIFO swarm with a bunch of I1s.
True.
Which I don't know if he gets any I1 friendlies. He gets a bunch of. You can go Zeta Squadron pilots, which are 3 points at I2, and then Epsilon cadets, also 3 points at I1.
Okay. I was curious to see, since these are meant to be kind of thematic, I wondered if any of the others in the squad kind of play well with that one. Because Kylo's by himself. He doesn't really commit to anything else. But that one, Zeta 5, could actually play well with somebody else if we'll see in a minute.
There's one ship that's in here that does, but I think the rest are higher initiatives than Zeta 5.
Okay.
And just to remember from what I read.
We know, but for the folks watching, I'm going to this completely blind. I've seen a handful of spoilers before, especially the SCUM ones that I've just eagerly gobbled up. But like these are all totally new to me. I don't think I've seen even Longshot.
Yeah, I had a quick look this morning, but I didn't go fully in depth to look through them all.
Nice. All right, next up we got Longshot, I3, classic TIFO stats, 2, 3, 3, 1. While you perform a primary attack at range 3, roll 1 additional attack die. I always like that one. Merciless, while you perform an attack, that's the same one. Okay, so they have that reroll ability you talked about. Determination, we've seen that. Consistent. Fanatical. You may change one focus result to a hit result. Yeah, Fanatical is insane. Like the first order stock upgrades are so good.
Yeah, Determination Fanatical is just pretty much staples on FO in AMG, I think they were talking about.
Yep. I like experimental scanners. I love that being able to call your shot and then you have to chase that ship around the board trying to get to it at that range 3 shot. This is a really
and it works
good...
well with his ability too.
This one reads to me like the Sabine TIE Hunter, although she's not as good as that in the XWA, but still. She's 3 points, right?
In XWA, I believe so.
Okay. All right, then we got Midnight. You want to take this one?
Yep, so while you defend or perform an attack, if you have a lock on the enemy ship, that ship's dice cannot be modified. Again, with Merciless, so I think most of the TIFOs come with Merciless, as I said before.
I like that.
Determination again, yeah.
I like that one because it does give you some sort of mod, even while you take the target lock action and don't want to spend it. That's a good... Yeah.
Targeting Synchronizer, while a friendly ship at range 1 to 2 performs an attack against a target you've got locked, that ship ignores the lock requirement.
Yuck.
Yeah. And then Advanced Warning Systems, after you declare the defender of an attack, if a friendly ship at range 0 to 2 has a lock on the attacker, you may perform a red evade action. So pairs really well with Longshot.
Yeah, that's just generally really good because this is one where the ability is amazing, but you always have a hard time justifying taking the lock. And this card is totally written to take a lock. And it feels pretty balanced, especially if it's on the cheap side, because you don't have to spend your lock. It still doesn't have very good offense, but yeah, you'll take the pot shots, unmodded pot shots, and that's still pretty darn good.
Oh yeah, target lock with Longshot. You use your advanced warning system to give yourself an evade after taking the lock. So range 1 3 dice with the lock, and you've got a defensive mod afterwards.
Yep. Yeah, but I guess that is a friendly ship also has to have the target lock, and that
which is why I'm saying you can set Longshot up early,
right,
and then have Midnight lock the same target when he gets into range. So you can take that range 1 lock with Midnight, because then with advanced warning systems, because Longshot has that lock, you can give yourself a red evade action as well. So you've got lock on the attack. which they then can't modify their dice.
Right.
If you don't spend it. And then you can even merciless Longshot or any other nearby pilot, so you can just re-roll a blank result instead of spending your lock.
Yeah.
Determination gives you an evade result, and everyone else is still piling in after him after I6 as well.
That's offense. Determination doesn't give him the defensive one, right? Oh, but you can still do
Correct.
that. Yeah.
Still you can still do that though.
Yeah, and he is I6, so he's more likely to be able to pull off those bullseyes, although he's not going to be locking if he does that. Also, a stupidly good wingman for Kylo to give him those free locks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yuck. All right, cool.
Kylo not needing to take a target locker for it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he still would probably want to get the rerolls, but still, like the...
Oh, yeah.
Oof, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right. There's some more first order. This is a lot of scary first order. And first order already scares the crap out of me. And we get another...
Mm-hmm.
This is an I3. And we were looking for I1s, right? That are lower initiative than Zeta 5? Okay. All right, we got standard FO stats, and then we're looking at friendly TIE ships can acquire locks onto objects at range 0 to 3 of you, ignoring range restrictions. Look at that. Look at these wingmen working so well together. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We got Merciless, we got Determination. Targeting Relay. After a friendly ship acquires a lock on an enemy ship at range 0 to 1, you may spend 1, non-recurring 2 charges, and gain a stress token. If you do, that friendly ship may gain a calculate token. Wow. All right, so this one doesn't do anything by himself, but is a really good piece to just put in the middle of your swarm.
Yep, you put him in with Longshot.
Yeah.
Just Longshot, Midnight, and Zeta and Omega 2 will just be a nice clump of ships to force a lot of rerolls.
Yeah, that one, I feel like that would have been okay if it was recurring, maybe 2 recurring, recurs 1 per turn but takes 2 to trigger it. Like, this is one where I could see being an every other turn thing. Being limit 2 per game hurts it a bit, but I'm assuming you'll probably be losing stuff before you run out of opportunities for that.
Yeah, plus that's true, but you don't want something that strong recurring, especially because that gives the calculate token to the ship that just performed the lock, right, and they can be doing that well outside. Yeah.
And especially if they have determination, that's just automatically adding a hit. I mean, yeah, I see how it's good, but there's a downside too, though, because the calculate's going to go away, and we just looked at several ships that can get locks before they engage, so that they'd have the opportunity to get a calculate when they wouldn't have any use for it, which I guess actually is argument for it being fine, only being 2 charges, because you'll have turns where you don't want to use it.
Yeah. So yeah, Longshot was 3 points, Midnight was 4, and Omega 2 is also 3 points.
Wow. Okay.
So that's just a 10-point core of Longshot, Midnight, and Omega 2, and that's still very
10 more points.
Very scary.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. Okay. And they're just shielded ties are still just very scary. What about the action bars? We've been looking at those.
I think it's
they are different.
So Omega 2 gets a barrel roll evade.
Right. Do the other ones have that? Do the other ones have different?
No.
No, that's okay.
They're all the default FO ones.
Okay, so this is a great one to throw in there and make people want to chase it, and then you just like, all right, I'm barrel evade, bye. Yeah, that's nice. And then I'm just checking the action bars real quick just to see if I'll recognize any. Okay, yeah. And Kylo, of course, has the advanced sensors thing.
Yeah.
Scorch, man, I love that artwork. That's cool. All right, this is one that's been taken a lot because it already had the extra dice before. What do you got? Same stats, same action bars, the normal FO. While you perform a primary... Nope, go ahead.
Yeah, while you perform primary attack, it's the exact same one.
Oh, okay.
Primary attack can gain 1 stress.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's the same... Yeah, it's the same one.
That, combined with Merciless, is already really good, because then you've got the passive mod on top of your extra die, and then Determination.
And Fanatical. And then threat sensors as well. While you defend, if you're not stressed, you can re-roll 1 evade result.
Right, so that's your running away and not fighting thing. So it has a defense when he's not being offensive. So if you're on low hit points and running away, it's nice to have that. That's cool.
Yep.
But it is... I love this the tension point on that, where you're like, do I want to do this or not? Like, do I want to throw extra dice or do I want to be defensive? That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. All right. Familiar. That one's pretty easy to process. Theta 3. I love the artwork on that one too. I like the contrast between those two. This one's just very nice. Oh, you're up. Is this is an SF? Okay.
Yeah, this is SF.
Yeah, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I'll take this one as well. So pretty sure that's the standard
Yep.
stat line on them.
The stock turret is new, but I assume we're going to see the heavy weapon turret. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just grabbing up to make sure these are the proper default stat lines. Yep,
the
so normal
3,
stat
3.
line 2-2-2-3-3. Yep. Does lose some of its actions. So instead of getting 3 rotates after all its actions, it drops all of those.
Yeah, so it doesn't have any doesn't even have the rotate
Yeah.
action.
No, so it still has the heavy weapon turret.
Sure.
So they've just heavy weapon turret is just printed on Jasby for simplicity's sake on the
Sure.
card, but it's already printed on the card with heavy weapon turret.
Sure. But I'm looking at the
So
ability
that just
to
does the
see if it
exact
actually has any way to rotate the arc, because I don't think it does. So you just start
no.
it with.
So yeah, so you start at front or back, and then heavy weapon turret is your linked action into it. So after you perform an action, you may perform a rotate action.
Okay. Yep. I missed
So
that
it's
part.
written on the card. It's just taken off the action bar to reduce confusion.
Sure. Yeah.
And then
don't
at the
forget
start of the
that.
engagement phase, yeah, if you have no green tokens, you can spend 1 to gain an evade token.
Yeah. Non-recurring 2 charges.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Positive senses, which FO loves.
Yeah.
Spend an energy, you can perform this action in your perform action step. So then, and before you engage, so you can gain a calculate or a target lock, and because you technically don't have a green token until you at the start of the engagement phase, and then you gain the calculate or the target lock before you engage.
Yeah. So you can
You
not have it
can just
jammed
get
off or anything. Yeah.
you can have evade calc. You can have evade calc or evade target lock. Seeker missiles. Spend 1
Well,
energy during the
wait a minute.
modified.
For passive, that is your whole action, right? So you
Correct, but
choose. So
yeah, you choose that, but you don't get the benefit of passive senses until you engage.
right.
But his ability reads at the start of the engagement phase if you
Oh,
have no
right.
green tokens.
Oh, okay, I see. So you can passive sensors and still get the defensive nuke. I got it. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. And Seeker Missile, as I was saying, 1 energy during the modified dice attack step. Modified attack dice, sorry. You may spend up to 2 additional energy. Change 1 focus result to a hit result for each charge spent this way.
And that's from the Outrider, right? The YT 2400.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's from the Lebo and Dash Render SLs. Okay.
Yeah. Seeker Missile. That's correct. Exact same one.
Okay. Nice. So it's got a 3-die primary that you can also set up to shoot from the rear. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yep. And then also you just get a you get focus results out of that as well. So passive senses into the passive senses gain an evade token, gain the target lock when you fire, and then seek a missile and spend energy charges to reroll focus change focuses. Sorry.
Oh my god.
He's
okay.
he's very defensively. Yeah, it's very nuts.
I just read the last ability too. I was like, yeah, all right. Oh.
Yeah. So first order ordnance tech. All of the SR, all the SF ties have this. So after you gain a disarm token, gain 1 calculate token. While you have exactly 1 disarm token, you can still perform front arc primary attacks.
Okay, so it does say primary, so you can't shoot the missile forward even if your turret's pointed forward.
Correct.
But you still can take shots even while disarmed.
Yeah.
And you have a free mod, so this could potentially have calculate, evade, and be shooting even while reloading its missiles.
Correct. Well, wow. No, you won't get the evade because you've got a green token in the calculate token.
Oh, activation. Right. Okay.
So you can't.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. It's only got the 2 dice though, not the evade helps it all that much, but still, that's
Yeah, it still keeps it around an extra turn or 2 if you need it to.
Yeah. Man, who did the artwork? I love this, and I love that they're all clearly SFs and FOs, but like such different artwork, so they really stand out. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Whoever did the modeling on all these cards did a really good job.
It's really nice. Then we got Initiative 4, Theta 4. I don't think this is a reprint. I don't remember Theta 4 being a thing before, but maybe it is.
No, he's new. Yeah.
Nice. All right, we got 1 recurring charge is the only difference from the usual stat line for these. You said they've heavy weapon turret, we just covered that one. While an enemy
Mhm.
ship in your turret arc performs an attack, you may spend 1 charge, 1 non recurring. Nice. If you do, spend 1 from your missile upgrade to choose 2 attack dice. The attacker must reroll those dice. Oh, okay. This is a
Big
nasty defensive
exception
zone.
here. He doesn't have reload as an action.
Ooh, okay. Good note. Nice. Okay, so it doesn't have the same ability before with the when you get a disarm, you get a calculate. Okay, so there's no way to gain a disarm on this. Let's see.
Correct.
Determination still barrage rockets. There it is. All right, that's why this thing still works.
Yeah, and that's why it's got no reload action either.
Right. Still get 5 charges. Although I guess you are
Yeah.
spending charges to use the ability still. But that's like I love
Mhm.
the versatility of that, where you can use it either way, and you can do it either way a bunch of times.
Mhm.
And then pattern analyzer is awesome on SFs. That's cool.
Yeah.
LeHuse. Oh, what a jerk.
Hughes is back.
You're up.
Yep. So same stat line as normal. At the start of the engagement phase, you may acquire a lock on an object at range 1 to 3 that has a friendly lock. If you do, break a friendly lock on that object. I'm not sure if that's the same LeHuse ability.
I don't think it is. I guess LeHuse is just cheap. Let me actually pull up the base LeHuse while we're looking at
Yeah,
that.
so
Go ahead and run
base
through the
LeHuse
recipe. Oh, you
is...
got it.
Yeah. Yeah, base LeHuse, while you perform an attack, you may spend another friendly ship's lock on the defender to reroll any number of your results. So kind of the same
Different.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like this evacuation of Dakar, that happens at the start of the engagement phase. So you can still take a focus, you can still take a evade, you can still barrel roll if you need to.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah. Determination, concussion missiles, and first order tech.
Combos really well with the guy that gives ships free long range locks. There's always locks out there for him to play
Yep.
with. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's at 4 points. All of the TIE SF, so 4 points.
Okay. Which tracks? None being at 5 is if they don't.
Yeah.
None of them have felt like they would have to be 5 yet, but that's still
No.
like you could run 5 of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good, but you could do it.
And this is the one that hasn't been leaked yet.
With the last one? Oh, this one is.
Yep.
Really? Wait, what if
The
is it? Oh, Talissann, we got a thingy back. Oh my god, this shuttle. I had a model. I don't play FO, and it took me forever to find a home for this shuttle. I may actually still have it. We'll see. Yeah, I won Petty Officer Thanisson, one of the absolute menaces of the game when he was released. And this thing still scares the bejesus out of me with that stock 4 attack dice. I remember having to go up
Yeah.
against 3 of these things.
Yeah, that's I've played that game against 3 Batwings. That wasn't fun.
It's like the worst list ever. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we got the 4 attack, 1 evade. Not a lot of as many people have seen this thing because it's. Was it extended? No. Yes.
Yeah, Thanos, the Batwings were immediately made extended.
Yes, because
When
they were
AMG
released.
acquired it,
They were
yeah.
technically released in first edition, and then they were split off into the First Order faction when it became their own faction. Wow. Okay. And that's going back. All right, 6 hull, 6 shields, 1 recurring charge during the activation phase. Activation or engagement phase. After a ship in your front arc at range 0 to 2, that's very specific conditions. Gains 1 deplete or strain, even more specific. You may spend 1 charge. If you do, that ship gains 1 stress token. That's why it's specific. Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then we got General Hux. While you're performing white coordinate action, which it has. Wow, white coordinate, nice. If you choose a friendly TIE FO or TIE SF, you may treat that action as red. If you do coordinate up to 2. Okay. All right. It's cool. It's fine. It's fine. He's I1. Oh god. If you do, so we're talking about 3 ships gaining whatever action you give. So they could all get a focus. They could all get a lock. That is nuts. Each ship you coordinate must perform the same action, treating it as red. Okay. Advanced sensors, of course, we know that one. Oh, wait. Advanced sensors is still really freaking good, especially on an I1.
Yep.
Wow.
And a lot of his bar is red.
Yeah, so he could
1 half,
reinforce
3 halves, and
coordinate
the stop.
3 ships or target lock coordinate 3 ships. Like that is. I don't like it. An interface array, 2 non-recurring charges. After you coordinate a ship, you may spend 1 charge. If you do, assign a jam token to an enemy ship arranged. There it is. Well, no, it doesn't. Okay. You assign a jam token to an enemy ship at range 0 to 1 of the coordinated ship. Still, that gives you massive coverage on that because of that general huck. So he's got a huge ability to apply jams, but he doesn't have a built-in way to trigger his own pilot ability.
No, but it's during the activation or engagement phase, and it doesn't specify friendly or enemy ship. It just says after a ship.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want to do it to your own ships. You don't want to stress them.
No, but Resistance loves taking deplete or strain.
Yeah, fair. Okay. We'll have to see those guys do that. But I mean, yeah, I get that, but they can always choose not to. So I guess it's kind of a passive turn off their abilities, which is cool. Interesting. Yeah, this thing is. If I see this on the board, I'm gonna blow it up.
Oh no, 100%. I agree. Like, Batwings are usually always priority targets, just because of the low agility, that 4 dice attack as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you have to get around the side of the thing to hit it, but yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I appreciate having a good reason to take one, though. Sorry.
Yeah. No, just being able to coordinate 3 of your TIE FOs or TIE SFs is phenomenal because, again, because you give Longshot the coord, he can pass that on to, who has it that lets you lock beyond 0 to 3?
It's not Longshot, it's the other one.
Omega 2.
Omega 2, no.
Yeah. So have Omega 2 fly a little bit forward. Longshot locks onto the target, which passes it to Omega 2, which then can pass it on to whoever you want it to, as long as they're within range 0 to 3 of Omega 2.
I do feel like we're going to see Omega 2 a lot.
Yeah, I think Omega 2 is going to be very popular. And at 3 points as well, that does a lot of work.
Yeah, I kind of love it. It's a tie that doesn't do all that much on its own, but is a force multiplier. So it's the thing you want to chase around the board. There's a lot of like play and counterplay and mind games in that. I love it.
Because Longshot, Omega 2, and Petty Officer Thanisson is 12 points. So Thanisson is 6 points by himself.
Okay, which is still perfectly reasonable for that. I mean, 4 base attack dice for 4 points. Excuse me, 6 points.
Yeah,
6 points. Yeah, absolutely worth it for that level of force multiplier plus that offense built in. Like that's.
Yep. And he won't be having any mods himself because his action will be the coordinate.
Right, and with advanced sensors, he can do the coordinate even if he gets blocked, which is very nice.
Yeah.
And you can always choose to. Oh, we're into resistance here. Okay, and you can always choose to do the white coordinate and not do his other ability if you need to not be stressed. So that I love that flexibility.
Exactly.
Too.
Yeah.
That's.
Well, it stresses the other ships that you're coordinating, but because you're at I1, it's always going to be before they move.
Right.
So they can just blue maneuver and take and accept it, or they're going to be doing actions and take a K-turn sloop, Talon roll.
Right. Yeah, and they're. Yeah, and FO TIE FOs have really good blues. You would be less likely to do that to SFs if they're going to. Yeah, they still have okay blues. They just move kind of slow. I love this artwork on Poe. I feel that it was one of the most comic scenes in the series, and I actually really was totally here for it. I enjoyed that. We've seen this one before, but you want to run through this one real quick? It's the longest card out there, so good luck.
Yeah, so 3-2-4-3, so same stat line for all the standard T70s. After you perform an action, you can spend 1 energy to perform a white action, treating it as red, so it's default Poe. So it's not commander Poe. After you perform a barrel roll action with adaptive S-foils, gain a deplete token while you perform an attack before rolling attack dice. If the defender is in your front bullseye, you may recover 1 deplete token.
Right.
But you may remove 1 deplete token,
Yeah, but still doesn't want to do that in front of Thanisson.
No, exactly. So but Thanisson only does it for 1 ship every round.
True. Yeah.
So there's still. Do I hang on to it in case someone like Poe Dameron's coming in, or do I just spend it now because he may not be doing it anyway?
Right.
Yep. The greatest ability in all of X-Wing, heroic. It is the greatest talent that was ever printed.
So good. Yes, it's too good.
Yeah. Yeah, while you defend or perform an attack, if you have only blank results and have 2 or more results, you may reroll any number of your dice.
Yep.
BB-8, during the systems phase, you can spend 1 energy to perform a barrel or boost action. And before you engage, you may spend 1 charge to gain a strain token. If you do, you may remove 1 disarm token, which works really well because he has a baked-in slam maneuver now as an action. While you perform a red boost, barrel roll, or slam actions, you must use a template of 1 speed higher than able. Then you may gain 1 strain token to remove 1 stress token. So you're always doing the focus or focus or a target lock before you do the slam.
Right, but he doesn't.
Because,
that's a confusing one because the only thing he can do that's red is the barrel roll. So he doesn't have a red boost.
Yes, but if you perform a focus, then spend his energy to perform a white action, treating it as red. You can focus a red slam, which then activates primed overdrive thrusters.
There it is. Of course, got it.
Yeah. And black one, after you perform a slam action, lose 1 energy. If this upgrade has 0 energy active, you cannot perform the slam action.
Yeah, like that, the limited slam. So give him slam, but don't make it infinite. Still, like,
Yeah.
I really love the counterplay here with Thanisson. Because he's got a bunch of different ways at different timings to give himself disarms or depletes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And then after you coordinate, and then, the interface array also can jam enemy ships at 0 to 1 of the coordinated target. So you can even get a jam onto Poe before he does anything.
What a jerk. Oh, God. Yeah, okay. And Poe is 7, right? This is a scary Poe.
This is 6.
This is 6. Still really good. Yeah.
Yeah, so a little bit cheaper than custom Poe.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the same action as custom Poe, and he gets a baked-in focus red barrel roll.
Right. Yeah, he doesn't get any access to torpedoes or missiles, but yeah.
No, yeah. Whereas custom Poe, you're usually putting torpedoes on him. You're still giving him BB-8 Black 1.
Right. Sometimes heroic.
Yeah.
Just not the prime overdrive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. All right, we got Scythe Ronali, who I'm sure I've never said that name correctly. Love the art. Man, I'm really enjoying the artwork on this. Same stat line, you got that 3-2-4-3. After you fully execute a maneuver, if you moved through a friendly ship, so you just flew over someone, you may perform an evade action. So can't do that while stressed, but you can do it. Very nice. And does a barrel roll count as fully executing? Does a barrel roll count as moving through or executing a maneuver?
So I believe the order of operations is you do the maneuver, check difficulty, then perform action. So
right,
no.
But say you did like a 1 straight and then you barrel rolled and the barrel will put you over. I guess you couldn't, if you say like clip a corner or something and somehow complete a barrel roll.
Such an edge case. I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Adaptive S foils, after you perform a barrel roll action, gain a deplete token. Thanisson says hi. Yeah. While you perform an attack before rolling attack dice, if the defender's in your bullseye, you may remove 1 deplete token. Sure. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's the chassis thing, the flappy wings. For the cause, new talent. While you defend or perform an attack, you may spend 1 non-blank result to choose a friendly strain or depleted ship at range 1 to 2. That ship may remove 1 strain or deplete. All right, that's cool. Then heroic, of course, double talent, nice. And then BB Astromech for the 2 non-recurring charges during the system phase. You may spend 1 charge to perform a barrel roll action. I do feel like there's some of this baked in to actually have that pilot ability trigger off a barrel roll, although it would be hard to pull that off. But maybe jumping at shadows.
Well, that's in the systems phase, so you're not executing the maneuver because that's an action, not a maneuver.
But what I mean is, does a barrel roll count as a maneuver? I think it might.
I'm not sure. We'll have to double check that one, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
Yeah, that's fiddly enough in the rules that I don't know either. But
yeah.
And then repulsor lift engines. While you perform barrel roll, you may gain 1 strain token to use either the bank templates instead of the straight templates. So that gives you a little bit more clearance to actually barrel roll over friendly ships if that does count as executing a maneuver, which probably doesn't, but it still gives you a ton of mobility, which is really nice. Got that boost to red focus and the focus to red barrel roll, so you got a bunch of maneuverability on this thing. Especially the focus to barrel roll is awesome with repulsor lift engines. Yeah, it's going to be a bit nasty. Also, so really... focus barrel roll is naturally on the card, but it's the boost focus that you're gaining. Sure. So that doesn't do the repulsor lift engines, but it gives you another mobility option to do a move and focus. I really like that.
And then for the cause is gross because you can use that to trigger heroic. If you roll
on her.
blank yeah, so if you roll blank focus, you can spend your focus because it needs to be a non-blank result,
Right.
which then triggers heroic.
Because you have only blank results, yeah.
Yeah, and then you still hang on to your focus. So then if you roll 2 focuses, you've now turned 1 focus, 2 blanks into 2 hits.
Nice. But you have to trigger it off. The opposing ship has to be in that range with a deplete or a strain. So yes, but I mean a lot of these will have that just because they're S foils. Yeah.
A friendly ship that's strained or depleted, which the adaptive S foils is draining them. Depleting them anyway.
Right. So great wingmate for other T70s. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Poe.
Like Poe. Yeah. Oh, Jris Tubbs. Love it. All right, you're up. We have fourth call.
So Jris Tubbs. After you fully execute a blue maneuver, you may choose a friendly ship at 0 to 1. If you do, that ship removes 1 stress token. Again with the adaptive S foils. And for the cause, which we've read over before, and R0 Astromech. After you reveal a basic maneuver, you may reduce its difficulty. If you do, after the check difficulty step, gain 1 strain token.
Real quick, what's the timing on Thanisson's stress?
When he passes out stress tokens.
Yeah.
During the activation or engagement phase.
Okay, so he could. I was looking at this guy as like an anti-Thanisson, but yeah, that the timing Thanisson could still get around this. But still, that's really nice, even just to pull off stress tokens.
Yeah, and
also got for the cause. What a jerk. Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
for the it's going to be that standard staple. Everyone in the SLs for that set is going to have the same at least 1 matching upgrade.
Nice.
So yeah, he can turn basically his entire dial blue. So the only red maneuvers are advanced maneuvers. So all he's 2 sharp, his entire 3 line and 4 straight can all become blue.
So with that, he's a pretty phenomenal blocker, although he doesn't himself have heroic. So that's unfortunate. Is he cheap?
Yeah, and he's 4 points.
Okay, yeah.
But he can get quickly around the board as needed.
Yeah.
And then and then because after you fully execute a blue maneuver, which you change into your entire dial. So he's initiative 1 that can swoop across the board at I1, just do a 4 straight. So then he's fully executed the maneuver, gets rid of a friendly ship's stress, gives himself a strain, and then can still do his actions and then still take a focus for defense as well.
So he's a great that's a really good wingmate. He's a little bit like the tie that does the long range locks. Yep. That's cool. I like that a lot.
And then you can still have someone save him with for the cause as well.
Yep.
To get rid of his strain token.
True. Fair point. Yeah. And at I1, there'll be a lot of opportunities for him to do that. Yeah. And he's almost never stressed, so he could comfortably do his linked actions all over the place too.
Mm-hmm.
Fun. I like that a lot. That's a really fun I1.
Yeah.
Oh, even better. I love the artwork. Nice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Starck. I don't recognize that name. Is this a new one?
This is a new one.
Cool. Okay. So we got setup. Wait, what? What? Wait.
Read it.
No.
Just read it.
All right, I4 setup. Instead of a T70 X-wing dial, this ship uses the RZ2 A-wing dial. So you got a T70 with an A-wing dial.
Yes.
I love A-wings. Adaptive S-foils, got those. We just talked about that. Same action bar for the cause. And then accelerated sensor array. While you defend or perform a primary attack, if the speed of your revealed maneuver is 3 to 5, you may reroll 1 die. Just 1 die. Just reroll it. Wow. So as long as you're just blasting around the board, which A-wing dial. What a jerk. Okay, if your revealed maneuver is an advanced maneuver, you may reroll up to 2 dice instead.
Which is got a 3 and a 5 Talon instead of a 2 Talon or 3 or 4K, sorry.
So it's really good for this thing to get on the outsides of engagement and then just like shoot in and then just, woof, nice. But it loses the slower maneuvers, so it's a little bit harder for him to keep up with other T70s. Except the I1 we just saw, who loves swooping around at high speed. Then we got 2 non-recurring charges in R5X3. Before you activate or engage, you may spend 1 to ignore obstacles until the end of this phase. Oh my god.
Yeah.
This I love A-wings. I love the dial. I love flying them. I enjoy T-70s. I find them challenging to fly. So like this was made
Hmm.
for me. This is the ship that would
Yeah,
actually get me to fly resistance.
yeah.
Um,
Understandably, he's 5 points.
sure. Yeah, I mean free
Yeah,
rerolls. Yes.
yeah,
Wow.
and R5 because it's during that phase that you actually spend the charge in. So you can spend the charge to activate R5 X3, blitz over an obstacle, and
Oh, and
then if you didn't do a K turn, you don't have to worry about ignoring it later on. Or if you have a really opportunistic shot that's unfortunately blocked by an obstacle,
just
pop it at initiative 4 to ignore it.
and then never use it again because it's only the two non-recurring.
Yep.
That feels like a
Hmm.
mirror of the other one that does the calculates, but a little bit maybe better.
Yeah, if I have a fly resistance, it's Stomeroni that's coming in my list. Like that's a guaranteed take in any list I fly.
It's also the kind of name you love to say. You're like, I'm gonna Stromeroni this rock.
Yep. I'm not sure if you're a part of the Discord because there is currently the Nickel City X-Wing League going on at the moment, which is a draft league,
Oh yeah,
and his name has been named to Stromboni.
Stromboni, sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love it. I've been aware of that. I haven't had the bandwidth to follow it, but
yeah,
I love it. I love every bit of design on that one. Those last two are
yeah,
really cool.
yeah, and it's just it's an A-Wing with an X-Wing stat line.
Yeah, I'll take a 3 attack die A-wing, sure. They
Yeah,
can ignore
exactly. Like,
rocks.
yeah, with for the cause and the accelerated sensor rate is just phenomenal. I love it.
This is a lot of text, but some of it's familiar. And you're up on this one. We get the I-5 Finch.
Uh, Talissann lintra. Yep. So while an enemy is in, so usual stat line for the RZ2s.
Hmm.
While your enemy is in bullseye, when an enemy in your bullseye performs an attack, you may spend 1 energy. If you do, the defender rolls 1 additional dice, which I think is his standard ability. So yeah, his ability hasn't changed.
Sure.
Refined gyro stabilizers, which is the exact same. You can
Hmm.
rotate your turret indicator to your front or back. After you perform an action, you can perform a red boost or red. I think that's meant to be rotate. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you can't
Oh,
rotate
typo.
normally.
Right.
Yeah. But he gets focus red coordinate at
I saw that.
I5.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that is nice.
that's nasty. So for the cause, heroic. Push the limit is finally coming back into the game.
Did we
I've
need it?
I have we haven't needed it, but I absolutely love it. After you fully execute a red maneuver or perform a red action, if you're not strained, you may gain 1 strain token to remove 1 stress token. That's what push the limit should have been in 1.0.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
think if push the limit ever gets printed as its own upgrade, that's what it's always going to be. I think that's a brilliant way to do it instead of stressing. It does make I6 uh, aces, like all your custom aces who take push the limit, really harder to hit then because
Yeah.
they just take the strain after dodging every single arc, and then they still have full actions to do what they want next round.
Yeah, but you just keep pot
Granted, they
shots on
keep
them and they're discouraged
yeah,
from doing that.
exactly. But it's still a great card. And then the double X23 S thread traces
Right.
is your attack calculate target lock. Spend an energy. If this attack hits, each friendly ship at range 1 to 3 of the defender may acquire a lock on the defender and cancel all dice results.
Yeah, that
So,
combined with that coordinate gives you a lot of ways to amplify the
oh
punch of
yeah,
your squad. Yeah.
yeah,
Oof. Yeah, plus the
because
defensive of the yeah.
because it doesn't need a target lock. You can use a focus or a calculate. So yeah, that focus coordinate and then SS trace and thread tracer someone as well. Just
Yeah, and I like that on an A-wing because you're not losing that much offense with that 2 base attack die. I mean, I still
no,
love the 2, especially with the for the cause and heroic thing trigger, because there it's got both on this one again.
yeah,
Yeah. So where would you use to push the
and
limit? I gotta understand this. So before fully execute a red maneuver or perform a red action. So you would do that for focus, coordinate, remove the stress.
mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Or on a red, or as it also says on a red maneuver.
Gyros.
So after your 5K or your 3 sloops.
Right. Or it's a big incentive to use your gyro stabilizers where sometimes you would be less inclined to do that. That's really nice.
Exactly. Yeah.
because you could boost and then lose the stress for the following turn. That's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. ZZ,
Yeah.
look at that bright red card. Nice. I was gonna say, like this one, I love the clouds. I really love the clouds. The A-wing
Mm-hmm.
itself, I'm like, yeah, it's all right. But this one, now we're talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And also an I-5. Man, the high initiative RZ2s were a menace. Looks
Yeah.
like they will be again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same stat line, same chassis ability. Got one recurring charge. After you defend or perform an attack, you may spend one charge to gain one focus or evade token.
Yep.
Stacking those tokens.
Which is what the custom ZZ runs.
Yeah, and it's the one charge, so it is limited, but still like very good. So you can spend a defensive token
Yeah.
and still have another one. It's
Mhm.
the first Gemmer before Gemmer was Gemmer.
Yeah.
Yeah, same gyro stabilizer, same action bar for the cause, heroic, and then precision hollow targeter. While you perform a primary attack, if you're not on the defender's firing arc, the defender rolls one fewer defense die.
So it's just
Ooh,
outmaneuver.
nasty. Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting to make a custom upgrade to just be, but I guess 3 talents would be weird.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool. That's a pretty easy one to process. Just a good, straight up good ZZ.
Yep. Both of those are clocking in at 4 points as well.
Oh God, this one's 4. I mean, yeah, 4-point A-wing. That but still, that
Which both of their customs are 4 points as well. So they
Sure.
haven't changed.
Yeah, but I think Talissann, you can do some really nasty stuff with the custom, and I think that this one is going to end up being played a lot.
Yeah, ZZ was a pretty common take in resistance lists just because of the ability.
Yeah, if I recall, she was really cheap. Like she was one of the 3-point ones.
Yeah.
She?
In AMG, yeah, but in XWA, she's always been 4.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Ronith.
Next up, we've got Ronith, Belario, coming in at 3 points, same as the custom. Usual stat line: while you defend or perform an attack, if the enemy ship is in another friendly ship's
turret
arc, exactly. That's, you got to be careful of that. You need to spend you may spend one focus token from that friendly ship to change one of your evade results or one of your focus results to an evade or a hit. Still with refined gyro stabilizers. Escort fighter with a recurring charge. While a friendly non-small ship defends, if you're in the attacker's firing arc, you may spend one energy and gain one strain token to add a focus result to the roll. So that's kind of like the Mandalorian Royal Guards for Scum in Fang. Heroic, as we know, and Starbird Slash, which hasn't seen a lot of play. But after you fully execute a maneuver, if you choose one, you may choose one enemy ship that you moved through. That ship gains a strain token. Then if you're in that ship's firing arc, you also gain a strain token.
And that's really good if you have your turret facing backwards. You fly over a thing, then combo these other abilities. That could be really, like, very punchy.
Yeah, exactly. Fly over it with Starbird Slash, do a focus, then red gyro stabilizer to rotate backwards.
Yep, and then make sure that something else pointed at it has a turret pointed at it and a focus token, so you can free. Nasty. I do feel like this is a pretty cool wingman ship. I feel like it's built to fly with the bombers.
Yeah.
Which I assume we're going to see because we saw a Flippy Flappy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's right. Oh, we got the couch.
Yeah, there's always going to be a couch.
The couch model it looks really crisp on that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And this is Pammich Nerro Goody. Oh, goody. Yeah, you don't see the couch all that often anymore. Just see the pod. I don't remember seeing the couch in a long time. Got that 2 attack, 1 evade, 5 hull, 3 shields. While you have 2 or fewer stress tokens, you may execute red maneuvers even while stressed. I love that ability. That's a little Tycho for you. Leave no one behind. Every time I hear that now, I've been a dad too much. I picture there's a scene in the Trolls movie where there's just a naked troll running out of this hole in the wall going, leave no troll behind. Yeah. After you perform an action, if you have fewer than 2 stress tokens, okay, because I assume we'll get to how you can perform actions while stressed. You may gain 1 stress token. If you do, another friendly small ship at range 0 to 1 may gain 1 deplete token to perform a boost action. Ooh. I mean, 0 to 1 is a pretty limiting range, but that's pretty good for your setup and early turns. And then if it just happens to trigger is, We got For the Cause again. We've got Roger. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
ROGR. While you have 2 or fewer stress tokens, you may perform coordinate and jam actions even while stressed. There it is. Okay. After you perform a coordinate or jam action, gain 1 calculate token. Ooh, that's nice. So you could... Yes, so you can coordinate a ship to give it a focus and then give it a boost, and it's taking a target lock. That's really... Yeah. So you've got the double action coordinate.
Yep.
So you coordinate to give it a boost, and then you gain a calculate. That's a lot of dominoes falling with this guy. Black Squadron R4, 2 non-recurring charges. After you fully execute a blue maneuver, you may spend 1 charge to remove all of your... What? Oh my god. Okay. Yikes. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I love it. That's a mechanic that there's already a crew for custom ships in Resistance that I've always been tremendously jealous of. So it's cool to see that still coming in on one of these SLs. And that's a pretty fun couch.
Yeah, that only this one's 4 points still.
Sure.
But you're able to do a lot of stress related stuff with it.
Yeah,
and like the jam a coordinate for the cause, leave no one behind is a great ability as well.
Yeah, and it's a pretty great. Feel like this would combo nicely with the For the Cause on other ships in the squad. It's going to be hard to justify this one over some of the others, but with this one and Tali in a squad, you have such incredible action economy. And you could really put whatever else in there you want and just have them do anything.
Yep.
Oh, a lot of jam, too. That's nice. That's good against those FO things.
Yeah.
And there it is. You get the first bomber. Finch Dallow.
I saw this card and it took me a little bit to recognize what the ship was. Because it's a from below angle. So because I couldn't see the 2 wings on the front, or it wasn't a front on angle, I really couldn't recognize it at first.
Sure.
But yeah, so Finch Dallow in the NG100 Star Fortress. If you would drop a device using a straight template and you're not stressed, you may gain a stress token to use a bank template of the same speed instead. Which is different from the custom, which the custom is you can just drop it touching
you can just
touching your base anywhere.
Yeah. I like this better.
I like this one better too. Modular bombing magazine. When you drop a device, you may set the template with its middle line aligned with the hash mark on the base of your side arcs. So you have a lot of places you can put bombs now.
Right. So it's the same ability, just with an extra range on it, because now you can do it. It doesn't have to be touching the base any direction. Wow. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Crew of Nick's Jerd, sorry. While you perform a reload action, you may spend 1 energy and gain 1 strain token. If you do, you may receive 1 additional energy on a bomb token. On a bomb upgrade, sorry.
Okay.
So you can just completely reload proton bombs after dropping them 2 turns in a row.
Sure. Or recover your thermal detonators after dropping 2 per turn.
Exactly. But you are taking a strain, which on a 1 agility ship, he's going to be getting shot at to begin with, but
it's got that reload into reinforce, so you can take the strain on a reinforce, which...
Exactly, yeah. While you have exactly 1 disarm token, you can still perform turret attacks. And then after you perform an attack, you may drop a bomb or rotate your turret indicator.
Wait, after you perform an attack, you may... Wow.
Yes, so because bombs only detonate at the end of the activation phase.
So it sits there for a while.
It's basically a munition charge bomb. Without the munition charge sitting on... So it's a munition charge drop bomb. Yeah, fuse, that's it. Fuse bomb. Munition charge, yeah. It's a fuse bomb without the fuse token, yeah.
Okay, I'm seeing all this sort of combo together. And this, again, would go really well with the wingman guy we looked at not too long ago.
And then proton bombs and thermal detonators, as we know and love them.
All the options. Yeah, so the thermal detonators one, the double drop, it looks like the double drop only applies to a straight drop. So, but you can still do the straight drops off the sides too. So you still have all the options of putting bombs in all the different places. Woof.
No, you could.
Right? Because
so you always So if you read it, so it's kind of like Emon.
Mhm.
Read it like it's Emon. So if you would drop a device using a straight template, which is like Emon, you're not stressed. You may gain a stress to use a bank template of the same speed instead.
Sure.
So you can one straight one bank or two straight two bank because the pilot ability doesn't specify speed; it specifies template.
Right.
So
Yes.
thermal detonators can get thrown out at two banks as well.
I might be missing the rules clarification on that, because for me the thermal detonators, there's still a lot of flexibility there. I don't read that as allowing you to do the wibbly drops with 2 thermal detonators.
So it's the exact same way Emon would do it for scum
Oh,
villainy.
to drop that many, the 1 or 2. Right.
So Emon specifically only specifies a one straight. So you could only ever do a 3 hard, 3 straight, and then a 2 straight thermal detonator. This is
Okay.
better because his pilot ability doesn't specify speed.
Sure. Oh yeah, okay.
So you can do one bank, two bank in the same direction, or you can do whatever you want. Like that's a massive field that you can lay down with thermal detonators.
Yeah, and this thing can drop 2 proton bombs per turn too, because you can do, you got
Yeah.
the normal drop and then page, you're throwing out both of them, and then you can recover both and still have and then reload them and do it every single turn. So this thing is just flinging 2 proton bombs per turn.
Yep. So you could just 2 proton bombs every turn, or you can throw 2 proton bombs, let them explode. Throw your 2 proton bombs in the systems phase, reload, get them back with Nyx, and then throw them using Page's ability as well.
This feels like it would just
during the engagement phase.
Just nuke entire fields of
Yep.
FOs.
And then you can just and then thermal detonators come out next round. So you've got 2 proton bombs, 2 thermal detonators at the end of the second activation phase. From just this ship alone. This is what these things should be doing. It's what they're designed to do in lore. I love it.
Is this thing like 8 points? Don't tell me it's 6. Don't tell me it's 6.
This is Finch Dallow. He is 6. So
okay, all right.
XWA was really conservative, making large base ships more than 6 points.
Sure. So he's pretty cheap for that level of thing. But of course, I mean, you're if you fill the board with bombs, you're hitting your own stuff too, or creating places they don't want to go either. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Still, that seems real good.
Yeah, this is just Emon on crack.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, not a fire spray, but yes.
Yeah, it's not a fire spray, but you still 3 dice front. You still got bow tie arc out the sides as well.
Yeah, it's a 270 arc because it covers everything except the rear 90.
Yeah.
45.
And then while you're disarmed, you can still, and then because Nyx Jerd, you take a disarm to reload, you can still attack out your bow tie arc with Page, which then still triggers the second load of proton or thermals.
Yeah, but still can't shoot 4 unless you keep not being able to shoot the primary 3 is good with Page. I think that's a really good way to kind of tie that back. And this Page, this is Rose's older sister ship, the one we see dramatically and heroically sacrifice itself in the movie. Where the scene is,
Mm-hmm.
Just fling it down the middle of the board and just bombs everywhere. Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh god. Okay, and then we got Vennie, who's sorry. Was there another point on the?
No, I was just comparing the difference to this page to the default page that's already a gunner. So the default page is after you perform a primary attack, you may drop 1 bomb or rotate your arc, and then after you're destroyed, you may drop 1 bomb. So this one's a little better.
Yeah,
this one's better.
It is better, but it also doesn't. I do like that this reduces your forward offensive output. Like it doesn't let you use the full 3 die. So if you're at a range 1, you're not throwing 4 dice and then also dropping a bomb. You're still throwing the 3, but it's still, I like that. That's a nice balance to that. And this is Vennie, who's behind some of the most reviled MG100 Star Fortress lists ever made. But what was it? Invincible? It's like the indestructible Star Fortresses.
Something like that, yeah.
I haven't read any of the card abilities yet. I'm just starting there. Same stat line, same abilities. It looks like so instead of Finch's reload to reinforce, which is just a bonkers combo with the other stuff going on in that. This guy's got rotate to focus, which is still very good.
Yep.
While you defend, if the attacker's in a friendly ship's turret arc, which we have a lot of RZ1s that can do that, or RZ2, excuse me, you may change one focus to an evade, which is very good. So as long as you keep guns on opposing ships, he's very hard to hit because you get a lot of free evade results. On top of a reinforce too. Ooh, he doesn't have reinforce.
He doesn't have reinforce.
Yeah. All right, that
so
nerfs it.
He does. So it's different from his regular ability because his regular ability just flat out adds a result to your roll.
Right.
So it stops you from getting 2 evades.
Right.
On your defense with a focus result down to 1 evade. But your initiative 2, you're going to be getting shot at a lot. So getting that free evade result from focus is pretty much needed because it's a little bit better in the end.
Yeah.
You don't need the focus token to get an evade result off your defense roll.
Yes, and I think that's really good. You do have to keep turret arc on stuff, but that shouldn't be a problem for resistance. And that's a cool, I like that. Yeah, it's nice. Perceptive Copilot, double focus. After you perform a focus action, gain 1 focus token. So it's going to do that off the rotate focus or the primary focus. And then dedicated gunners, a 2 gunner slot. While you perform a primary attack, that 3 primary, or actually the turret, if the defender's in your turret arc, you may spend 1 focus token to roll 1 additional. Oh, God. Okay, so you keep your turret forward and you're throwing 4 dice.
Yeah.
Okay. After you perform a primary attack, you may perform a turret bonus attack using a turret arc you did not already attack from this round. Does that mean you can fire forward primary and forward turret if they're both pointed the same direction?
Yes, it is exactly like veteran turret gunner.
Wow. But so you could do 3 primary forward and then also 2 turret forward.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you have your both, so but wait, you could add an extra die to both too if you wanted to just give up your mods.
Correct.
Because 2 focus tokens, the first part.
No, because it's technically primary attack, so yes.
Yeah, so you could throw if you're at range 1. I mean, you lose all your mods, but if you're at range 1, you could do 2 attacks against the same target, throwing a total of how many dice is that? You got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Less than.
Because it's
9.
It's
5
3-2 goes to 4-3 for range 1, and then goes to 5-4. Yeah. I mean, without dice. Mods, you're just
But there's lots of ways to coordinate mods.
Right. Yeah. Well, additional focus tokens. Okay, so just kind of thinking, this is the 40k equivalent. This is the orc way of playing a shooting army. Is you just like roll in range 1 and just throw 9 dice at something and see what happens, and then drop bombs on it. Wow.
Which I like. Okay. It's basically a B-42. It's just a porcupine of guns.
Yeah, I like that, and I like how this one is very distinctly built differently than the other one. So you got your bomby one, and then you've got your
shooty one.
Yeah, and you can be more conservative with that. You don't have to throw all the extra dice. But man, if you're at that range and you're hitting something that has no evade dice, like if you get this guy nose to nose with something with 1 or 0 evade, like a decimator, throw the 9 dice at that stupid thing.
Yep, and then again, because he's I2, so there's no way that he can get coordinated before his action, but there's plenty of ways for him to be coordinated after.
Right, and
you can take a target lock as his action. Yeah, you can take a lock as his action and then have someone coordinate him the focus, or the other way around.
Right. Yes, and then either way, he still gets the double focus tokens. Yeah.
Lock double mods. Yeah.
It is frightening, but I kind of love it because this is a very high risk, high reward thing that's kind of easy to play around. But if it lands on you, like, I just want to see that. I want to see the 9 dice someday.
Oh, so do I. And then you take Ronith with him because while you defend or perform an attack, if the enemy ship is in another friendly ship's turret arc. And so he works really well by having a lot of A-wings taken with him.
Yep, and he has the perceptive copilot. If he's not up close to anything, he can trigger the. Is it Ronith's? What is this one? Yeah, there it is. Spend 1 focus token from that friendly ship to change one of your results. Yep. So it can buff Ronith's offense, or that's pretty good.
Yep. Because Ronith is any ship, I think.
Yeah, it's any ship with a turret arc.
Yeah, while you defend or perform an attack. Yeah.
Yep, has to have a turret. So this guy, again, felt like he was built for the Star Fortresses. So Ronith, and it also helps they're both I2. So they're definitely
Yep, and
partying up together.
then still Ronith, you'll probably see flown with either Star Fortresses or the Resistance YT-1300s that are still popular.
Oh yeah, or the X-wing
Because
that pulls
they're
stress off stuff, because this is something that would love to be
yep.
de-stressed.
Even the Y-wings as well, if they're running a turret arc.
Oh, fair. Yep. Yeah.
There's a lot of turrets in very small variety of ships for Resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a remarkable number of turrets actually when you put it that way. Oh, wait. Okay, so I'm going in totally blind. I've seen the revealers already for Scum.
Yep.
I just saw
I'll let you read this. I'll let you read it because I know this was the card you've been waiting for.
The two, so to go this in advance, the two that I'm really, really waiting for. I want Boba Fett. I want a good Boba Fett that I can run all the time and just like hug it when I go to sleep. And then I want Dengar. I want a Dengar who gets out of the freaking garage.
Yep. All right. So scroll down and read the first one then.
Armed and dangerous. So just the quick background of this, we've got the evacuation Dengar scenario for Resistance of First Order, and then there's the other scenario that is just Scum. I actually don't know if these come with a scenario or just are.
No,
just
there's no scenario. I don't. They're just standard loadout card packs, but they're themed around a specific thing. So, First Order and Resistance were themed around the evacuation of Dengar, and the Scum cards are just armed and dangerous bounty hunters.
I still have not allowed my eyes to drift outside the artwork. It's beautiful. I'm loving the artwork on this one too. Like that, the color pattern of clouds, like that very menacing shine on Boba. Oh.
It's a beautiful. Yeah.
Look at you. All right, we got the 3 forward, 3 rear bow tie, 2 evade, 6 hull, 4 shields. I believe that's standard. Same. Whoa, wait. After pilot ability is after another friendly ship defends, if you have a lock on the attacker, you may perform a bonus attack against. All right. Okay. Let's see what else he got. All right. He's got boost to lock.
Yes.
Boost to. Okay. This is a very different ship already. Before I read the rest, how many points is this guy? Is he 7?
Is 7.
Nice.
He's 7.
A 7-point Boba.
So you lose. Yeah. So you lose the massive amounts of rerolls.
But that's how you get a cheap Boba. That's how you get your i5 fire spray like in the mix of competitive price range. Yeah, okay. So
but when you read the rest of his upgrades, you'll realize why locking is such an important thing for him.
Okay. Homing beacon. Okay. 2 non-recurring charges. While you perform a target lock action, you may spend 1 charge to ignore range restrictions. Very nice. All right. After you fully execute an advanced maneuver, which they've got several, they don't have sloops, do they? It's K-turns and Talons. Do they have sloops? Okay. No, K-turns and Talons. After you fully execute okay. Advanced maneuver, if there's an enemy ship at range 1 to 2 in your forward arc, reads like Dengar, you may spend 1 charge to acquire a lock on that ship. What?
Which then still triggers off. You can spend both to homing beacon that to any range after you perform and execute an advanced maneuver.
Nice. Okay. So a lot of ways to acquire locks. I like that. So he ends up with the offensive mods that the classic pilot has, just against a single target, not everything. Fennec Shand Gunner. Nice. While you defend or perform an attack, if you have a lock on the enemy ship rolls 1 fewer die. So he's an I6 hunter. That's awesome.
Which also ties into his bonus attack as well.
Oh, that's true. If you have a lock on the attacker, so he just doesn't, he wants to keep the lock and just not spend it. So he has a couple ways to get them. So he can move them around as to, okay. Seismic charges, sure, that's the thing. We've seen that. Slave 1, while you perform a forward attack, if you are in the defender's full rear arc, full 180 rear, you may change 1 hit result to a crit result.
So this is Django's. It's Django's Slave 1.
Nice. I like that. It's good to have that. Yeah. The big thing for me, though, is bonus attack's really nice. I5 really nice. Being Boba Fett at 7 points is huge, and I love it. All here for it. It's not at all the direction of design I was expecting, but I do really like it.
No. So he loses a lot of his defensive survivability with the rerolls at range 1 or 0 to 1.
Again.
But he gains a lot of offensive power out of this.
That Fennec ability, though, I mean, yes, it's again. So he's a one-on-one fighter. He's not really meant to dive into a swarm anymore, which is kind of makes sense. But if you're going up against smaller squad sizes or a specific target that you know is dangerous, that Fennec thing to just nerf their attack dice is great.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice. And still seismics. Love it. And the seismics, of course, everybody can hear the sound in their heads.
Yeah.
And we've seen this one, but if you want to go ahead and take this one, we can. I love the artwork.
Yep. Oh, the artwork on this is beautiful. So while you defend or perform an attack, if you're in the front arc at range 1 to 2 at range 1 to 2 of 2 or more enemy ships, you may change one of your blank results to a focus result. With the restored speedster, while you have exactly 1 disarm token, you may perform primary attacks against enemies in your bullseye. I think they've reworded it so it says exactly 1.
Ah, exactly 1, because you could get multiple disarms.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could have multiple disarms from all. You could passing around disarm tokens from other scum ships.
Sure. I like the slam
Outmaneuver.
to lock. Yeah.
Yep. Slam to lock is great fun. The few games I've played with Mando, I haven't had him die, but the few games I've had some of my locals play, Mando's just blanked out and died.
Such is life.
Such is life. He needs to be super, super cagey.
Yep.
While you perform a front attack, if you are not in the defender's firing arc, the defender rolls 1 fewer defense dice.
Nice.
Without maneuver, the child, which is better than the card child because you don't have merciless pursuit. So this is just after you defend. If you suffer damage during that attack, recover 1 force. Kineso switch. After you perform a slam action, if you fully executed the maneuver, you may spend 1 energy to break all locks assigned to you.
I was like that one.
And the calibrated laser targeting while you defend. The targeting's cut off at the very edge there. While you perform a primary attack, if the defender is in your bullseye, add a focus result.
Yeah, this is a guy you want to be behind stuff lining up bullseyes.
Yeah, behind or side on. He's definitely a big ship hunter as well.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, that tracks, right? Because in the show, he does end up fighting that pirate cruiser.
Yep.
Yeah, it's cool. I still have mixed feelings about this one. I still kind of wish that primary was 3 in bullseye, like another primary 3 bullseye. I would take that over CLT, and it's one of those things too where like the abilities don't really mesh because like you've got a pilot ability and a child where you want to get shot at, but everything else about this screams don't shoot at me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think if they changed his actual pilot ability around, it could see some nicer play. Like something to work even better with the bullseye arc.
Right.
Like just go all in on the bullseye arc with this ship.
Yeah. Like a lot of scum, I feel like he really benefits from a coordinator. So you do his action, do a focus, and then have someone come in and then give him the slam lock to get him where he wants to be and shoot stuff. I think that's a really cool way to play him. It also is fun because you always see him with these like really cool wingmen who help him accomplish his missions, right? So that kind of feels thematic too. But yeah, I have mixed feelings about this one. I'm going to play it for sure, and I'm loving seeing the models pop up all over the place.
I've enjoyed playing him.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
he feels like a more knife's edge Grievous.
Yeah, he does.
All right, what's next? I'm really genuinely excited about this. What I got? Bo-katan. I do love to see Bo-katan, and an SL for the Gauntlet is just awesome. I know we have a couple here.
Yeah.
Gauntlet stats. Scum, I think we've talked about this before. The number of Scum ships that are large base with 2 evade is just through the roof, and I really like that. That also feeds into why I'm so excited about a 7-point Boba, because you can actually like run them in a 3 ship and still get 2 scary wingmen. Yeah, let's see. 2 non-recurring charges. While you perform an attack, if you are at range 0 to 1 of the defender, you may reroll 1 attack die. Very nice. Wing reversal. I love this. After you reveal a turn, left or right turn maneuver, you may spend 1 non-recurring, gain 1 strain token, and increase its difficulty. That's a lot. If you do, perform that maneuver as a Talon roll maneuver of the same direction instead, which is super good.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this has been FAQ'd or not, but you can still technically increase the difficulty of your 3 Talon, which your 3 hard, which is red, into red.
Right.
So you're still just gaining 1 stress, but you can 3 Talon roll.
Yeah, which I mean, yeah, I wonder. Then we got Mandalorian tactics. While defending, if there's at least 1 enemy ship at range 0, you may reroll 1 of your blank results. Combos with that pilot ability. Very nice. Just defending though, not offense. Oh, it already has it. Yeah. Okay. So it gives you both.
Yep.
So it's that Mandalorian offense and defense up close. You still don't want this thing at range 1 of stuff, but it's huge. So it's
no. Yeah.
I appreciate this, like the rework of the Night Owl sentries. So during the system phase, you may spend 3 At the end of the activation phase, if this upgrade has 0 active charges, each enemy ship range 0 to 1 of you rolls 1 attack die. On a hit or a crit, they suffer 1 damage. So you're just ramming into stuff. It's like, yeah, go ahead and block me. Bring it on.
You're a giant proton bomb.
Yeah, and you're getting the defensive reroll for being in a bunch of people's faces too. And you
can offensive reroll as well. She is one of the few ships that can modify range 0 shots.
Nice. Now you still don't get the extra attack die, but still that's really good.
No.
And then followed by veteran tail gunner. So if you're up in the bushes with a bunch of enemy ships, you can really do a lot. This is a ship that's going to burn bright and burn.
I've played one game with Bo. I had Night Owl Sentries go off twice, and she threw a lot of dice.
Yeah, I could see that.
And she gets that free reroll as well.
On all of them, on offense and defense. That's nice.
If you're bumping something. If you missed out on the bump, you don't get your defensive reroll.
Right.
But all your offensive rerolls are all your offensive attacks get a reroll if you're at 0 to 1, which you're going to be.
Yeah, that is nice. That one bummer I get on this though is the action bar really sucks, especially since it doesn't combo with any of that. You got the standard focus lock, and then the other 2 actions you're probably not going to do because you don't want to be stressed. But
I did stress Bo with the reinforce.
Sure.
Yep. She likes a lot of scum ships want to be coordinated. We just don't have a lot of fantastic coordinators. But she would absolutely love a focus coordinate into reinforce.
Just spoiling the rest of the ships for me, huh? The tugboats. I still love the tugboats as coordinators. They do a really good job.
Yep, so do I. I love the HWKs as coordinators. I still will definitely take Tapusk as a coordinator at 4 points.
With the title at 4-point Tapusk, with the title at I5. Yeah. I'm still sad he can't. I'm still sad he can't
Gamut
take Hondo.
Gamut Key's a little expensive at 5.
Yeah.
But Tapusk at 4. Yeah.
Yeah, but Tapusk doesn't have enough loadout to run
anything else.
Hondo
you just
crew. You take what?
No,
Gleb.
You take either Gleb or Grief Cargo.
Yeah. I do love an excuse to run Grief. I'd love to see that used somewhere, and I think you may come up again. Oh, we got Han. Whoa, we got Han. This one's yours.
Han Solo in the customized 1300, specifically Landos, but we'll touch on that in a little bit. So standard line for him, he gets 2 more shields now.
Ooh,
so he is 8 health, 5 shields, so you don't have to take the escape craft to give him shields.
Nice.
While you defend or perform a primary attack, if the attacker is obstructed by an obstacle, you may roll 1 additional die. So it is standard Han. Coaxium injectors. After you fully execute a speed 3 or 4 maneuver, you may spend 1 energy and perform a red slam action, even while stressed. After you perform a slam action, you suffer 1 crit unless you expose 1 of your damage cards.
So kind of, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got the rotate into focus, which has always been a big problem for Scum Han.
That's huge.
Yep. Chewbacca. So this is now repeatable with 2 regenerating charges. Sorry. During the systems phase, you may spend 2 energy to repair 1 face-up damage card.
Nice.
So you just Coaxium injectors and then Chewie next turn.
Right. And then you can do it in the system phase and not as an action is phenomenal. I always wanted to take Peli for that, and I could never justify the slot.
Yep. And you can do that every other turn.
That's good.
Yep. L337, while you defend, you may spend 1 energy. If you do, the attacker must reroll all attack dice. If this card's energy is inactive, decrease the difficulty of your bank maneuvers, and you can't recover energy with this energy can't be recovered. Which now just made me realize, does Cutthroat actually trigger on... it's a non-recurring charge, so you could have actually Cutthroated L337 custom.
You can. Yeah, you can still... Yes. So you can get that reroll before. It's interesting to see that wording on this, though, because I don't see a way on this for it to recover charges, unless there's something else coming up in the other cards.
No L337 can recover charge, because it's not a recurring charge on just the custom crew, but you could theoretically Cutthroat it as Han's talent to regain it.
Yeah,
or whoever L337 is on. You wouldn't, because I'd rather spend the 2 points on... I'd rather spend the Cutthroat on more important energy, or getting rid of... or getting rid of an orange or red token.
Yeah.
But theoretically, you could do it.
Yeah.
Tobias Beckett is different. This is a newer one. While you perform an attack, if you're stressed, you may re-roll up to 2 attack dice, then suffer 1 crit damage if one or more of the re-roll results is a crit result. So it's kind of an angrier R5.
I love it, and it's not. There's no arc requirement, so that's Tobias.
No,
Just,
there's no. Yeah.
this is a 7-point Han.
This Han, I think he followed the same with all. So again,
6?
they were really conservative with making large base ships 7 points. So he is 6.
He's really good at 6, but all right.
But yeah, remember he can't double trick shot though.
Yeah, but he's got land between Lando and the Han chassis ability. That was always enough by itself. You don't need trick shot.
Yeah,
And it regens kind of with
true.
Chewie. You've got the opened up dial and you've got the offensive
Mhm.
mods, and it can. Holy hell, is this thing fast?
Yeah, he can only do coaxium once though. It's a non-recurring
Yep.
charge.
But still, that gets
And
him
then-
like out of trouble or into
yeah.
a spot you want him. Like that's
Yeah.
good.
And then Lando's Falcon, while you perform a primary attack, if the defender has a non-lock red or orange, you can reroll 1 attack dice.
So no engine upgrade, so you're stuck with the red boost. But that rotate focus is amazing because that's a huge problem on this ship. The base 2 shields, good spot on that. I probably would have missed that in the first read.
Mhm.
I like this a lot. This is one I would actually fly because I've tinkered with this a lot and it always lets me down. The stuff
Yeah,
on here,
I've never had a good Han game.
But even just like totally blank and just rotate to focus with Tobias on there, like that by itself fixes most of the problems I have with the ship.
So you're never rolling a 5 dice Han again with this.
Sure. But you're rolling a 3 die with mods a lot.
He's a lot more consistent, yeah.
Yeah. Which, I never got the haymakers to go through anyway. And if I did, they were unmodded and it was sad. But this is,
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the 2 to 4 with mods over the whatever we had before.
Yeah.
Nice. I like
And
that one a lot.
3 dice evade Han at range 1 is.
Yeah, I also do love that this is just straight thematic. These are the out of the box upgrades you were really supposed to take with it that just never worked.
Yeah.
Now they do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice. And I kept that one. I actually got rid of my Falcon, my Rebel one, and kept that one. And I was really debating that decision, and now I feel very happy about it.
Yeah.
Who's next?
You've got the next one?
Do I?
Yes.
There it is. Hello, my beauty. I might have to repaint the card because I have a repaint of my Dengar. Okay, I'm again just focusing on the art, just enjoying, just reveling in the mode of seeing a Dengar standard loadout, which I have been longing for since they introduced the format. I love Dengar, which is totally unjustified now, but I remember 1.0 Dengar, and that thing was stupid, and I flew it just all over the place.
I did as well.
Yeah. All right, so we got Dengar, we get the Jumpmaster 5K, stock 2 attack die turret, 2 evade, 6 hull, 3 shields, that's standard. 1 recurring charge, same ability it looks like. After you defend, if the attacker's in your forward arc, you may spend 1 charge to perform a bonus attack against the attacker. Sure.
Yep.
R2G8, 2 recurring charges, gunner. After you perform a primary attack that hits, you may spend 2 to choose an enemy ship at range 0 to 1 of the defender. If you do, that ship gains a strain token. I see where this is going. Which that actually combos with your bonus attacks. Nice.
Yeah.
So this is the thing too, is like I actually built my Dengars to do a bonus attack at initiative 6. So I actually ran them pretty frequently to do that and just ignore his ability because it's usually better to control what 2 shots you're taking than to rely on your opponent to feed you the best possible shots, which I got all kinds of heat for that, but this is built to do that, which is awesome. Then we got synchronized handling. The tech, before you engage, you may spend 1 charge to gain a calculate token. After you fully execute a turn, bank, or Signor's loop maneuver, recover 1 charge. Ooh, okay. So you just get the free calc mod no matter what action you take. Very soft mod, but I like that. It's a little bit like, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, he's almost always performing a sharp or a bank to the left.
Yes, that's a
especially with the yeah.
It's what's the elusive? No, not elusive. Yeah, the one where you get the defensive reroll that recharges on red maneuvers. It's like a large ship elusive. I like that. Starboard thrusters. There's the asymmetrical dial. After you reveal a left turn or a Signor's loop to the left, you may spend 1 of 2 non-recurring charges. If you do, decrease the difficulty of that maneuver. Oh, yes. After you execute a white Signor's loop maneuver, gain 1 strain token. That's so good. That really opens up the
But,
dial in a way the 1.01 did, but in a controlled way. And of course, we only have the 2
yeah.
uses of it. Yeah.
Mhm.
And here we've got the nerfed punishing one, which is a bit of a bummer. While you perform a primary attack, if the defender's in your forward arc, roll 1 additional attack die. I get it. I do think it would be perfectly safe to give this guy a 3-die turret because he can only point in one direction at once anyway, but whatever. Yeah, still, it tracks. Yeah, he's faster. He's got some passive mods. He's got stuff that feeds into his bonus attacks in a way that feels productive. And I believe those are focus, rotate, or excuse me, focus, red, rotate, and then lock, red, rotate. I believe those are his standard actions, right?
Yep. So all of those are the standard actions on a regular jump master.
Yeah, and then
And
red roll.
that's the same. It's the same punishing one as well. So it's the
Right,
exact same stat line, exact same punishing one title.
Yeah, I'm mildly bummed about punishing one, but I still enjoy a lot of the other stuff. Since most of this is maneuver based, I'd have to fly it to really get a handle on how this changes him. And I really like R2G8. That's cool. Yeah, being able to shoot at I6 and then strain something to scare the heck out of it after that is great. Combos beautifully if you do the Dengar Boba combo, which I absolutely would. Is this 6 points or is this 5?
This is 6 points. This is 6 points. So Boba Dengar is 13 points. So you're looking at a very restrictive 3-ship list.
Boba Dengar plus 2 3s is my jam. I'm doing it.
Then give away a point.
You're right. So it'd have to be 3 and a 2. Well,
3 and a 4.
Oh, 3 and a 4.
Because there's 6 plus 7.
Right. Oh, yeah. Okay. So yeah.
So you could put in Mando. You could put in a ship that appears later on. You can put in.
But a 3 and a 4 is still. I can do a lot with a 3 and a 4.
You can put in. You can. Yeah, you can put in Sarko in the quadrijet for co-warding.
I don't know that those two need coordinate so much, but yeah.
Boba might like it. You can just say, yeah. You can just say screw it and just put in a bunch of put in 2 2-point ties and a 3-point. If you need bodies on the table.
This is. I think I'd still be giving up a point if I did my dream team of Boba, Dengar, Bosk. That would be 19 points, right?
Yes, you are correct.
Okay. Yeah.
We've guessed that Bosk would be at 6, but we have it confirmed now. And when we talk about Bosk, I'll let you know what the points are on that. Which he's actually next.
Hey! Oh, good artwork. This one's yours.
This is beautiful. It's not the orange that we know and love, or at least it's a very desaturated look because of the way the sun's coming in. But standard stat line 3193. Is that this? I haven't flown a Wave in forever. I haven't flown it in a long time. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that tracks.
I had to make sure because I haven't flown a Wave in so long. So standard Bosk ability, after you perform an attack, after the neutralized result steps, you can spend 1 crit to add 2 hit results. New chassis ability, imposing behemoth, while an enemy ship at range 0 defends, if you're reinforced and the defender is in the matching front or rear half of your reinforced token, that enemy ship rolls 1 fewer defense dice. So you want him being in there causing havoc, blocking people.
Which he's going to be anyway, and I love that there's a YV built for that.
So he doesn't have a built-in reinforce, but that gets fixed with the next card, Embo. At the start of the engagement phase, if there's an enemy ship at range 0, you may perform a red reinforce action.
But wait, he doesn't have a native reinforce action.
No, so he loses the native reinforce action on the usual YV bar. He gains a coordinate, though.
True, and a white coordinate, no less, which is
a
very
white coordinate at that. Yeah.
Okay.
So stick him with Dengar, and you can do some nasty, nasty things.
He's just a much more aggressive YV, which I kind of like about him too.
Yeah. Contraband cybernetics, which we all know and love or hate, depending on what factions you fly. Before you activate, you can spend 1 energy. If you do, until the end of the round, you can perform actions and execute red maneuvers even while stressed. It can't be recovered. Then Houndstooth is a new version of Houndstooth. So instead of getting the cruddy little snub fire, while you perform an attack, if you are reinforced and the defender is in the reinforced
It's hard to
is
read
in the
that.
matching front or back reinforce. They made it grey instead of white. Is in the matching reinforced token. You may change one of your focus results to a hit. If the defender is stressed, you may change one of your focus results to a crit instead.
Nice.
So you charge in, cause a block, have someone run into you. Yeah, charge in, cause a block, get the reinforce, and then fire at something else at range 1 to 2.
Yep, and then just nuke it.
Preferably range 1. Yeah.
Right. With the Bosk. Yep.
Yep.
Because that combos with, because that gives you the crit you need to trigger Bosk pilot ability. That's,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love it. I really like this design. It's one of those things too, where like if somebody brings a YV, you're like, I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna go as slow as possible, somewhere
Yeah.
squishy, and you're gonna just reinforce every single turn. So I appreciate that this is built to not allow that and make for a much less predictable style of play.
And here's also 6 points.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how the points evolve from this, but that's where they are right now. And then I assume we'll see
Yes, so
Zuckuss.
as I was saying,
Ooh. All right. Now, I've talked many times about how I love Fang Fighters, and I think they're kind of dumb because they are so unreliable that they're just not worth paying the points for a good one, and the bad ones don't do, or the cheap ones don't do as much. We've seen Rebel Fen, especially in Worlds we just did. Rebel Fen just runs roughshod over the tables, and Scum Fen is played a ton, but his win rate is dumpster basement level compared to the Rebel one. A lot of that has to do with the amount of synergy you get among Rebel pilots and what they can do, but a lot of it also is because he's 5 points. So let's see what this guy does. See what you got,
So
Fen.
this one is 6.
Nice. This is 6 point Fen. All right, let's see it.
This is 6 point Fen.
He's got the stat line. Die 6.
I don't think you've noticed what's changed on his stat line.
I'm not. Does he have an extra hull? He has an extra hull.
He has an extra hull.
That's nice. Okay, so 3, 3, 5 hull instead of the stock 4. Cool picture. Armed and dangerous. While you defend or perform an attack, if the attack is range 1, you may roll 1 additional die. Same one. Has
same
face off. While you defend, if the attack is range 1 and you are in the attacker's forward arc, change 1 result to an evade result. Those two abilities are
same thing.
Super good.
But that's what's always been on Fen. So
yeah, action bar looks the same too. We got focus.
Action bar is exactly the same.
Roll focus, boost focus. Yeah, those. Yes. So another thing that's always held them back is this is it's a jouster. It doesn't have the hull for that, assuming that anything goes wrong.
It kind of does now, but the same problem with the action bar on Fangs that is always the thing.
They don't have double reposition. Yeah.
No, they don't have double reposition, and the reposition comes before the focus.
Yes. So if you want to do the safe focus up, you have to be stressed too. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you fail the reposition, you then can't focus afterwards.
Yeah,
whereas a lot of other KG aces can do the focus then the reposition. If they fail the reposition, they're not complaining because they've still got the focus mod.
Right. Yeah,
but they get stress for it. But yeah.
Yeah, in the past few years, I've taken to flying a lot more A-wings, and I just like that ship so much more. And it's been a little bit sad my breakup with Fang Fighters, but we'll see what these are built. Actually, it looks about the same. I see one upgrade I don't recognize. So we've got Fearless. While you perform a forward arc primary attack, if the attack is range 1 and you're in the defender's forward arc, you may change one of your results to a hit result. Sure. Which is particularly good with his pilot ability because the extra die with the free hit. Still very good. Another ship that basically has to have a coordinator to get the most out of it because you're looking at single modded attacks. I mean, yes, you've got Fearless, sure, but that's one. It's an auto hit, which is good, but it's only at the most dangerous possible place.
Yeah.
Adaptable power systems. 2 charges, non-recurring. After you fully execute a red maneuver or perform a red action, you may spend 1 charge. If you do, you may gain 1 deplete token to remove 1 stress. That's nice. That's very nice. That adds a lot to his mobility, actually. So that does let you do your boost focus after a red maneuver, which is what I think only CAD. I actually don't think any of the Fangs were able to do that before.
Nope.
That's cool. Okay. Before you engage, you may spend 1 charge. If you do, you may gain 1 strain token to remove 1 deplete token. So it's non-recurring. You could use both. So you do the red maneuver. You then take a deplete instead of a stress. And then in the engagement, you can spend
boost focus
charge.
in or barrel roll in, and then take the second one to remove the deplete token
Right, so
for a
deal the
strain,
extra dice, which you
if
don't
you've done
need
it
to
right,
because
you're
he's
not
Fen.
yeah, but if you've done it right and you're not being shot, and you are being shot at, you can do that. Because keep in mind, you're still rolling 3 dice. No, you're rolling 4 dice range 1 still.
Right.
Even with
And
a deplete token.
if you've done this move to be offensive and turned your butt to someone, then Beskar's turned off.
Yes.
Which is the final upgrade. While you defend, if the attacker's in your forward arc before you would be dealt a face-up damage card, you may spend 1 charge, build that card face down instead, or spend 2 charges to discard it instead. I mean, at a 6-point Fen, I think, is never going to be worth it, and this doesn't do anything to fix that. The adaptable power
This
systems...
is a 6-point Fen.
Yeah.
You have to keep in mind that this is 6-point Fen because at the moment, Fen is 5 points with 3 upgrade, with 3 loadout. So he's getting a hull upgrade, he's getting stress mitigation, he's getting Beskar, and he's getting fearless. It makes sense that he's an extra point. I don't know how well he's going to fly at an extra point, but he will never be cheaper than 5 customs, 6 standard.
Yeah. And that's like, this is how you have to balance Fen. I get this. I think this was an opportunity to redesign it and change his pilot ability to something that you could make cheaper. This is very much like, this is Fen as Fen is already. I get why he's 6 points, but he's not worth 6. And
I'm still going to try him at 6.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, people are going to fly the hell out of him. He's just not going to do very well. And my
I'm flying Fen Bosk.
Interesting. But here's
because with Bosk bumping someone and he's got the reinforce, they're down in agility, and you have this Fen come in and punch him really hard.
But again, that's my biggest problem with this is like every single upgrade, and we've talked about this before, every single upgrade on this is built into filling in the problems, the weaknesses of the Fang Fighter design. You've got increased maneuverability, you've got the extra passive attack mod when you're in the most dangerous spot. You've got Beskar, and all of these are like very limited in what they do. You have to be at dangerous ranges, you have to be specifically in front arc. And none of this gives you a focus lock. Like none of this gives you a double modded attack. So none of it is worth a 6-point offense because you can always blank out.
This is true. I've never had Then again, we say this, but you can still, in the first round of engagement, if you've done it right, you're either out of range or at range 3. So you take the target lock in the first round of engagement, then you pounce in and get that 5 dice range 1 with a target lock focus.
Or you have Bosk roll in and coordinate him for the focus, and then he does the rest himself. Coordinate him with the lock. Yeah. So that, And so I actually kind of love that Bosk gives you the opportunity to take a coordinator that's also one of your big punchy ships because he's got passive.
And you can also do it with Bo and Fen as well.
Oh yeah,
Bo has a red calculate, and that's even more thematic.
I do like that because but I mean the red calculate is a bit of a bummer. but
she can take that red calculate because she's still got that range 0 to 1 attack reroll.
Yeah, so I like that because that's also very like Mandalorian themed. That is cool, but that would help normal Fen anyway. This doesn't do anything differently than that.
I mean, you get the Beskar, which he needs. You get Fearless, which he needs, and the adaptable power system can still do some really cool stuff.
But you could take him at 5 and just roll the dice.
True, this is true. I still want to fly him. It depends on. Are you going to build to? Are you going to build to 14 and take this Fen, or are you going to build to 15 and take the other Fen, which may not last as long because that hull upgrade is going to come in handy.
I will eagerly await your battle reports, but I'm not going to fly this one.
I know definitely myself and Lucky Duck. We will definitely be trying this Fen.
Nice. Yeah. And I mean, people are going to fly Fen. People are going to fly him a lot. And this does have a lot more built into him than the other one. And I've seen a couple suggestions where it's a good idea to have like the very stripped down, like 5-point version of an ace pilot, and then the 6 and 7-point versions where they're like loaded to the gills, but you pay for it with the extra squad point. I like that design.
It's a good design. It's a good design theory.
Yeah. This is still Fen. This is a Fen designed by people who think that current Fen is fine.
Current Fen is fine if you fly him right.
Yeah.
I will add that. So I will add that caveat. Current Fen is fantastic. Asterix. not asterisk, star, whatever you want to call it.
Sure. Yeah.
And then as the little side note at the very teeny tiny bottom in tiny text, if you know how to fly him and your dice don't suck.
Sure. I will say that current Fen is fine 50% of the time. Because half your
50%
attacks,
of the
half
time
your
he works
defense.
90% of the time.
No. At least a third of the time he goes up in a puff of smoke at range 3 when a TIE fighter looks at him. Yeah, I want to love it, but I'll
I'd say
continue to
fly
grumble
it,
about it.
see if he reignites your love with Fen.
Prove me wrong, or I will see if I can prove
Yeah.
myself wrong, because I do still love Fang Fighters. They're so cool thematically, and I really like the model and the aesthetic. Love the Gauntlet, and I like flying them together, but I'm taking the cheaper ones.
Yeah, and because this Fen is 6 points with one additional hull, you want to fly him a little bit more conservatively, so he's not going to be having those massive downsides. He's not going to be getting randomly caught at range 3 and blown up, or randomly caught at range 2 and blown up. He's going to be arc dodging and swooping in when you need him to.
Yeah, and then the problem is when you need him to, he
Yeah.
needs to hit hard, and he doesn't. At least he doesn't every
Which
time.
there's plenty of ways to mitigate that now, because you've got coords with Sarko or Tapusk, you've got new ships cut, you've got this is gonna pair really well with Bosk, I think.
I could see him pairing well with
yeah.
Boba, because you've got that like target lock. Well, no, because he's not good at getting target locks.
No.
Yeah, and this is the thing too, is one of the things that I felt really fixed Fen, especially Fang Fighters in general, is optics. And this doesn't have optics. So
Correct.
it does not have a way to guarantee that offensive output.
Optics instead of power systems, maybe.
Yeah.
But
I think that would have been the very standard, like Mandalorian Fen. The adaptable power systems does kind of help give him a little bit extra mobility, but it doesn't. All it does is reduce the downside of his existing mobility. Still has no double reposition, no way to have his defensive stuff trigger except out of those extremely narrow conditions, and no way to get the extra target locks. Like, it doesn't solve any of the problems that I have with Fen. And he's more expensive, which makes the problems I have with Fen worse.
Yeah, well, it's just
we'll see.
Flying with a coord, see how it works.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's going to be the main way to make this Fen or any other Fen work really well, is have that coord available to you.
Which thematically doesn't really make sense, because he does not fly with a coordinator
But oh well.
Yeah.
Anyway, next up.
Sorry, I took too long.
No, it's fine. You and I have had plenty of conversations about Fen, and we will go on and on about Fen. It is very easy for us to sit here and argue about Fen, because we're both two very polarized views on Fen.
Fair. CAD. So this one I like a lot.
This CAD, I love the look on this card.
Yeah.
So I've flown this CAD. He comes in at 4 points.
Nice.
Which is what I was play testing him once he was leaked. So I'm happy to see that he's coming in at 4 points. He fits very well at 4 points.
Yeah.
So standard stat line for the rogue. Same ability, which is after you perform an attack that hits, spend 2 energy, transfer one of your non-lock red or orange tokens to the defender. Same dead to rights. If the defender's in your bullseye, the defender can't modify their dice with green tokens.
Yeah, no need to mess with that. It's good.
Yeah, so flechette cannons make a comeback from 1.0. After this attack hits, so this is front arc, full 90 degrees. After this attack hits, if the defender is in your bullseye, the defender gains a strain token, which you can then pass off with Cad Bane.
Well, the defender gets the strain and whatever red thing you pass to it.
You can only choose one. You could.
No.
So Cad Bane's ability. Oh yeah, so you can assign a strain and then so you can double strain at strain lock. You strain stress. You are correct. Sorry.
You're probably going to strain stress it, but yes, yeah.
Yeah, strain stress it. Yeah.
You can double strain it with Toto.
Technically, you can. Oh no, you can't, because you can't shoot while you've got a deplete token. My bad. Because I'm like, technically, you can get rid of the deplete from your target lock, but you can't shoot with weapons lock with a weapon lock. My bad. Or weapons disabled.
Wait, where did he get a weapons? Oh, cloak. Yeah.
Because he's got the cloak from Xanadu.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Toto 360. During the systems phase, you may spend 1 energy. If you do, you may remove 1 stress token and gain 1 strain token and 1 calculate token. So in one of my games where we were seeing does he like 4 points, I'll preface this with saying I'm not a part of the testing team. I was just testing this in friendly matches with locals.
Sure.
And we said, yep, this is what we think they roughly are. Build it to this point. We can discuss if that's what we think it is afterwards. I had a situation where I had Toto 360 trigger one turn after another, and I just did 2 Talon rolls.
Just the whole time.
Yeah, so 2 Talon roll. 2 Talon roll. Activated Toto 360 to do a 2 Talon roll. Activate Toto 360 the next turn to do another Talon roll. And in that situation, it made sense for him to do it because of how the board state was. You're not always going to be doing this, obviously.
Right. Reading this, though.
And then Xanadu Blood, so after you decloak, you may choose an enemy ship in your bullseye arc. If you do, that ship gains 1 strain token. So that is new. The Xanadu Blood title just gave you bomb slot and the cloak.
This one is magnificent. Like, just to read through this individual stuff. So the Xanadu Blood change is really freaking good because that's different, right? Yeah.
You have to remember that when you decloak, it is with it's a 2 straight boost or a barrel or a speed 2 barrel roll.
Right, but you have basically
so it's a little harder to do them.
Yeah, unless something else has system phase reposition, you can trigger that one knowing where stuff is going to be. Now, of course, it can do a blue and clear it, but...
Yeah, but also, because you're I4, you can still pull this off onto, say, I5 or I6 Empire or First Order ships that reposition at a higher initiative than you.
Yeah, and they may clear it, but like if you talk about all of this, so you do Xanadu Blood, you decloak, you hit something with a strain, then you manage to keep a beat on it. And then after you decloak, then you could Toto 360 to remove your stress if you happen to be stressed. But I don't think you can't do that if you're stressed.
So, well, you can because
if you have a crit.
Decloak and Toto are both during the systems phase.
Right.
So you get to choose when they go off.
But when you decloak, it's a barrel roll action, right? So you can't do that while stressed.
No, decloak is not a barrel roll action.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Decloak is you perform a barrel roll.
So you decloak, you Xanadu Blood to strain an opposing ship, and then you Toto to remove your stress and change it to a strain and then a calculate, which is great.
Assuming you can do, so you cloak, take the stress the first turn, then you barrel roll, and then before you do your blue maneuver, you can Toto to clear the stress. So you could do a 1 hard, or a 2 hard, or a Talon roll.
Or don't do a blue, keep the strain, and then when you shoot the thing, you can give it a double strain.
Yes.
And then flechette cannons, if you hit it, so you could potentially triple strain a ship. That's not really great. You'd rather stress and strain it, but you've got a ton of ways to hit these things with red tokens that then can be shot off by other ships.
Exactly.
Yeah. And he's still got that. And this is like, this suite of upgrades gives you a really good ways to deal with stress, at least a couple times. So Toto gives you 2 options instead of contraband, which is usually just 1. So that really opens up the dial.
And it gives you a calculate as well.
Right. Yeah, that's really good to get the passive mods you can then lock and still have another mod. I really like flechette cannons because it kind of splits the difference between synced cannons and the ion cannon, or the proton cannons and ion cannon. This is a great build of CAD and feels just as dirty as he is too. You're just like throwing tokens all over the board.
So this version of flechette cannon's a bit different. So 1.0 flechette cannon as a
stress
reminder, it is a stress and does 1 damage, and then you cancel all the results. Whereas this is 2 to 3. This is up to 3 damage, and if you're in the bullseye, you also take a strain.
Yeah, it's a strain, not a stress, so a little bit less limiting, but still really good.
Yeah.
Less good at I4, but still, if you have an I3 or another I4 to follow that up.
As I've said this with a bunch of people, I think I've even said this to you, Scum is the king of I4.
Yeah.
There is a lot of Scum ships flying at I4, and because they all shoot in the same initiative step, you get to choose the order in which they shoot.
Right. This is...
So you very well could triple strain someone using Xanadu Blood into Cad's ability and flechette cannon, and still have 2 to 3 I4s shoot after him.
Right. He also, with that Xanadu Blood ability and actually his other stuff to like stack tokens on opponents that they then have to clear, he becomes a really good wingman for Han.
Yes.
Which is great.
So
Love that.
I would not be surprised if I see Cad Bane and Han flown side by side.
Yeah. Or Han and Dengar. Like Dengar's ability to throw out that
Yeah.
token for free is also really nice.
Well, that's it. Han, Dengar, Cad is only 16 points.
Oh my god. Double I6 plus CAD, and then you still have 4 points to throw something else in there. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Or Han, Bosk, CAD, and then another one.
Yeah. Han, Bosk, Cad. Yep.
Yeah. That's, oof, man.
And onto the final page.
Ooh. This is
the one I love.
Oh, this. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I haven't seen this one yet. No, you go ahead.
These next two have been leaked in the past, so I have flown with both of these.
Nice.
But this is the one that I was most happy to see. It's not Guri, my beloved, but this is infinitely better Zizor, and I love the after image effect on him too.
Nice. Oh yeah, the little
which
thing
ties into which ties into this which ties into Star Vipers as a whole. So this Zizor Virago, so he gets the bonus shield in his stat block. So 3-3-4-2 with 3 charge. When you perform an attack against a strange ship, you may remove 1 stress token.
Oh, that's nice. This guy is meant
so
to fly
he wants
with
to he wants to fly with Cat, but this Zizor is 5 points. So you can't fly him in that nice big block of Han, Dengar, Cad, or whatever 2 6s Cad. You can't throw in Zizor afterwards.
Yeah, but
he's just nice, 1 point too many.
Like 5-3 soup, and you could fit this guy with a bunch of things.
So the micro thrusters ability has changed. So for those who aren't familiar with the standard micro thrusters, while you perform a barrel roll, you must use the bank template instead of the straight template. So the adaptive micro thrusters on this Zizor standard loadout is, while you perform a barrel roll, you may spend 1 energy to use the bank template instead of the straight template. So you get a lot more caginess out of this Zizor. Nice. Then Crime Lord, after you defend, if the attacker is in your front arc, you may spend 1 energy. If you do, the attacker gains 1 strain token, so it's just notorious.
Very nice.
A lot of people were asking why Zizor got this next ability upgrade in Mandalorian Optics during the systems phase. Yep, I can explain the lore implications afterwards, because I know this one. I know this one because I didn't even need to look this up. I knew this because of my obscure lore knowledge. During the systems phase, you may spend 1 energy to acquire a lock on an object in your front arc. If you perform a primary attack, if you have a lock on the defender, ignore obstacles beyond range 0 obstructing attack. So, Star Vipers are actually built by Mandalorians.
Mandal Motors.
Yep, Mandal Motors. That was the old lore, and with the new books for the role-playing game, they brought it back.
Nice.
And so it's officially canon again, because it was put out in the books by
Lucasfilm.
FFG.
Disney.
Yeah. So Disney wiped out all the old lore, and then the new book, which put Star Vipers back into the canon again, kept the exact same origins. Originally paid for by Zizor, he bought out the rights. So Viago, which is the next upgrade. During the systems phase, you may perform a red barrel roll or boost action. So notably, instead of
tips, it doesn't have any charges.
Yeah, no charges, and it's not in the end phase now.
Oh, that's right.
So this is in the systems phase. I4 with a double reposition though is still pretty good.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. It's an I0 and then I4 reposition. So it's still really good. Yeah. So it's still,
but we still see a lot of TIE advances who still take the system phase. And remember, systems phase runs lowest to highest as well.
Right. Yes.
So this isn't technically I0. In the systems phase, you go lowest to highest in the systems phase according to who has initiative as well.
Yeah, I call it I0 because it's before it moves.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. It's a good assessment to say that, but I haven't had a chance to fly this yet. I really want to fly this. I've had, I keep saying his name, but Lucky Duck, because he's my local that I usually play with. He's flown this a couple times, and he absolutely loves this.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's a very clean, really good Star Viper. Just it's
Yep.
good. And being like the sort of poster child of the Star Viper, it's nice to see this because Custom Guri doesn't need any help. Custom Guri is beautiful. It doesn't need
Oh,
anything
I
else.
love Custom Curie.
But
Custom Zizor
Zizor,
needed help.
yeah, Custom Zizor, no one was ever going to fly that because it relied on
No.
having generics and a
Yeah.
lot of them. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, but this makes him a very independent operator and feels very thematic
Yeah.
to what he does and is, and it's just it's a cool ship.
Yeah. And
I
at the
like it.
moment, with Guri only having 8 upgrades, she was never going to take Virago,
Yeah,
because that was 8 points.
yeah. And
She
that one is the one that
much,
has
yeah.
2 charges, so it's not as good, and is the end phase too.
Yeah.
So like we mentioned, all the
And
reasons why you
she,
don't want to do
yeah.
that.
She much prefers advanced sensors
Yeah,
or pattern analyzer and a 3-point upgrade.
yeah. I always liked Pattern Analyzer
Mm-hmm.
Predator. Is
Yep,
Predator
pattern
still
analyzer
3?
predator. Yep,
Yeah,
pattern analyzer predator, pattern analyzer fearless.
yeah. That's
If you
good
want to
stuff.
make her a knife fighter, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can definitely run Zizor Guri for 10 points, though.
If you want, is that 2 B-wings worth of? Maybe.
Yes,
I
because
wouldn't.
if you fly them right, because Crime Lord is you're never going to get shot at. Like, people don't want to shoot at crime. You won't see use out of crime because Crime Lord means he's not going to get shot at by people higher than him.
Yeah.
Because he's just going to shoot back.
Yes, and that's yeah. I do really like. Yeah, so lower initiative wants to shoot at him with that. That's another case where he's a really good wingmate for
But then he's
Han.
dodging lower. But he's usually dodging lower initiatives anyway.
Sure, but not all of
Because
them.
he's
Yeah,
not all of them, but it's easier to dodge them because you can be super cagey with the system phase reposition
yeah.
into the opposite barrel roller boost. Still give him a focus if you want. Keep in mind, though, you can't continuously keep doing it because it is a system phase red action. So
Counterpoint
if
to
you do
that,
the
and of course this is the opposite of my whole argument with Dengar, but the Crime Lord ability is really good if you're flying him in a list with another I6 that has a shot on that
yes,
attacker. So if that attacker's
yep,
like, I want to shoot at Zizor, no, I don't.
I6 or I5 shot, yeah. His
Yeah,
eyes all like which Guri.
Guri, yeah, also very good.
Yep,
Yeah, no, I really like that. This is I've just had
yeah.
a thought too, like the way that Zizor and Cad are built. I would love to do like
Mm-hmm.
a 3-way game or like a scenario somehow where Zizor and Cad are flying against, are somehow like the spoiler between a resistance FO thing. Because just picturing all these ways where these two can strain enemy ships and that playing into Thanisson, like
Yeah,
that would be a lot of fun. Maybe a
yeah.
doubles event. Yeah, there's some cool stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
And
think
you
we've
can
got one
have
more.
the
Oh,
yep, and this one's all yours.
Zuckuss! That's a very interesting color scheme. I like that because Zuckuss is pretty weird, and
Yeah.
having the weird artwork is very appropriate with the potato of a ship. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got Zuckuss. Standard stat line, nothing fancy there, but that 3 primary attack and 10 hit points is always something that stood out as kind of fun. Very much a Y-wing, but with the
So
extra primary attack.
this Zuckuss isn't standard stat line.
No? Does he have an extra shield?
He does have an extra
He has
shield.
an extra. Look at you, Zuckuss. I'd love to see Zuckuss get the vote forward because my God was the potato terrible. And no one
Yep.
took Zuckuss because Forlom was just really the better pick pretty much every time. But Zuckuss is
Yep.
like the star of the ship and the team, so that was always sad. So I love
Mm-hmm.
this. While you perform a primary attack, you may roll 1 additional attack die. If you do, the defender rolls 1 additional defense die. Still a super
Yep.
good ability because red dice are just native, a little bit more reliable than green dice. So it's
Yep.
always more or less always the right case to make, unless the defender's a bunch of mods. I was really liked that one. And then enduring
Mm-hmm.
limitations on the chassis. At the end of the activation phase, if you have 3 or more stress tokens, you must remove 1 stress token and suffer 1 damage, which sounds pretty weird. But then if we look at the rest of the stuff, action bar, you've got that focus lock, roll to red calculate. The
Mm-hmm.
bullet holes in the calculate tokens are an interesting thing. Um, is that on all of them? I don't know. And then we've
I
got
think
the
so.
white jam to calculate, which is a white jam to red calculate, which is a fun combo there.
Yep.
Because it was the ship, if I remember correctly, that introduced the jam action.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so to see that still recognized in this chassis is pretty exciting. Then we've got Persistent Tracker with 3 non-recurring charges. During the system phase, you may spend 3. During the activation phase, if this upgrade has 0 active charges, you can perform actions and execute red maneuvers even while stressed. So
Yeah.
I don't really understand why it's 3 charges.
I don't know. I don't know either. There's no way to regenerate them easily.
I wonder.
Maybe it's just to tie in with the enduring limitations.
Oh.
3. It's just
Yep.
There's a number 3 on it, so give it 3. So you kind of want to. If you're doing this, you're going to end up with 3 stress tokens anyway.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Because you can do a red. Because you can get a stress on him because his dial is very stressful.
Dial
you got 2Ks. You got 2Ks, 4Ks, 1 hards, 3 banks, and 4 straights, as well as the 0 stop to give him a stress. Then Persistent Tracker, you can then do another red maneuver and then still do a barrel calculate or jam calculate to get 4.
Yeah, my only
and
hesitation...
then at the end of the
Sorry, go ahead.
And then at the end of the activation phase, take a damage, drip a stress, so you're back down to 2.
Yep, and that's my only hesitation on this, is that the problem with the Mist Hunter isn't necessarily the volume of red on the dial, it's the complete lack of blue. Like, once you have stress, getting it off on these ships is really hard. And their enduring limitations
there is ways,
is cool.
Yeah. There's ways to mitigate it if you keep reading.
Right. So it has a tractor beam. Also, it was the ship that introduced the tractor beam, but it was one where you never wanted to do that because you want to use the primary. But you can throw... Yeah, and it doesn't even combo with his ability either, but it's on there. Which we'll get to that too, because there's another upgrade on this. But then he's got the 4-LOM crew, so this guy now has the best of both, being both Zuckuss and having 4-LOM's ability too. At the start of the end phase, you may spend 1 calculate token. Oh, you have to have the calculate. Okay.
Yes.
And choose an enemy ship at range 0 to 1. If you do, transfer 1 of your stress tokens to that ship. So being able to free stress an enemy ship is really good. And you can combo that with enduring limitations, or you can just use that terrible dial and just pass up those stress tokens so the ships have tough decisions to make. So I really love that combo.
Yeah.
It is slow, it is clunky, and now medium base, but still.
Yeah. It's pilot 4-LOM as a crew, which he needed to calculate because that would just be too strong.
Yeah.
Pilot 4-LOM is 5 points.
Yeah. Yes.
So he needed the calculate to make sense for him to be a crew.
Yeah, and yeah, so you have to do your barrel roll calculate, you have to do your jam calculate. The ways to get calculate tokens of this thing are the less powerful actions it can take. So yeah, that limitation is on there makes sense, and it makes it just a very interesting ship to fly.
Yeah, but he still likes being coordinated as well.
Right. Yeah, so he could focus and then also roll calculate or jam calculate.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or you can just white jam if you really need to do that, which is a really cool action to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got 10 hit points, which is pretty exciting, even on the 1 of age ship with that much offensive potential. Then finally, we've got Mist Hunter, which is after you perform a cannon attack, so you can use the tractor beam, you may gain 1 strain token to perform a bonus primary attack against the same target. And now, am I remembering correctly that 4-LOM can also pass off strain tokens? Or is it just stress? Just stress tokens. Okay.
Just stress. And it's at the start of the end phase.
Ah, yes. Okay. Yeah.
So I had Lucky Duck came up with a really nasty combo. He had custom Dengar with Swarm Tactics.
Oh no. Okay.
And Fenral. Custom Fenral, because we didn't know standard loadout Fenral was coming.
You're right.
So he had Zuckuss, Dengar, and Fenral all shooting I6, and he just picked something, said, I don't want you on the table anymore. Because you Mist Hunter, get the tractor beam, which drops your opponent's agility by 1.
And moves it, potentially.
And moves it, but if it's in range 1 anyway, you're not going to be moving it. You're keeping it in range 1. But you can still shift it to your range 2 to put it into a friendly range 1 if needed. Or take it out of a friendly range 0 to make it a range 1 attack.
Yep.
And then used his ability to gain a strain to perform the primary attack, and then pump the primary attack up to 5 dice.
Yep.
When you're on basically the same agility because of tractor beam.
right? And if you fly this carefully with just white maneuvers, you can really legit just target lock. And then still
Yes.
your tractor beam primary with the additional die. Like it's a very dangerous ship on its own, most basic level
Oh yeah.
without the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he had custom loadout CAD in there.
Oh yeah, because why not?
Yeah.
And that
So that was the
CAD,
game that I had my Bo-katan CAD game in. So I just had the barrel rolling CAD bay in that game.
nice. Yeah, CAD is also like custom CAD is another kind of sneaky place you could put a coordinator, but he doesn't have the action bar or action economy to really justify that. But yeah, I love this Zuckuss because it does the things that Forlom does, but is also just Zuckuss. He's such a weirdo, and it's such a strange little ship that I never play, and I would love an excuse to fly it again. So I'm really pumped to run this. Yeah, we talked about that like CAD, and this guy's 4 points.
5 points.
5 points. Yeah, with that number of hit points in offense, yeah, that makes sense. But still, like this guy with some of the cheaper ships in here, like this guy Sizor and CAD, still gives you a good chunk of points to play with.
That's the 6 points, yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Zuckuss, Sizor, CAD, and your choice of any of the 6-point SLs.
Yeah, I'd love this. So all of the scum ships are some of the more thematic bounty hunters. They're some of the ones that definitely needed love, especially those last two. And they all give you reason to take these over. Except the guy that everyone was already taking.
The standards, except the customs, yeah.
Yeah, they also give you a reason to take them over. Like so you could actually justify taking Bosk instead of Afra, who's usually the better choice. But so that's really cool. Very pumped to fly that Dengar. Very excited. And then of course
all of the I can see all of these I can see almost all of these SLs being used.
Yeah, and I think each of these has a pretty thorough fan base that really likes that pilot. So even if they're not all flown, I can see every one of these individually making it into a ton of lists.
And same with FO and Resistance as well. I could see every single one of these standard loadouts being used, unlike the AMG SLs, where only a niche handful are used for the same list over and over.
Yeah, and especially these ones, the FO and the Resistance ones really feel like they're built to run in squads. Like they're meant to run together in a cohesive squad. I didn't really get that from the Scum, but that's kind of Scum's MO, so that's fine.
These are individual bounty hunters, but I have a lot of things I want to do with these ships.
These are pretty darn cool. Yeah, these are cards that would actually get me to play Resistance, and honestly, it was some of the Battle over Endor stuff that got me flying X-Wings in the first place. So this would do for me for these factions what those have done for me in the past, which is part of the whole goal. So that's really cool. Oh man, we had initially talked about how we were going to cover worlds lists and also talk about the stream, but this took long enough that it is now 1:45 in the morning. I should call it.
Yeah,
and we'll have to revisit that later in the week.
Do those later in the week. I'm pretty much free throughout the week except your Wednesday evening.
Got it. So I've got, we'll see when we can figure this out again. I'd love to touch on that because there's a ton to cover, but I'm glad we get to sit down and do this one for sure. Appreciate it. Yeah, so.
All right, no problem.
Cheers. Till next time.
Till next time.